If you've ever needed to get in touch with a turkey expert, call 1-800-BUTTERBALL. But also hit that like and subscribe button, folks. It is the day before Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving Eve, as I like to call it. Some people like to call it Hell Wednesday, Black Wednesday, or the day before Thanksgiving. Whatever you call it, I'm glad that you're here. We got another day prior to the holiday to make some money here. Let's just get right into it. All right, folks, good morning and happy Wednesday, November 27th. Welcome back to another episode of Market Edge Live. And you read that right. Yams are at the ready, and it is PCE day. We have some data coming out in about 29 minutes that might move the market here. Replay Game Lab. Anyone have cats? Do they punish you when you come back from a long trip? Yes. I have a cat, and he punishes me for a lot less than that. I'll tell you that much. Can be gone for 5 hours in the morning and get back, and the punishment is on deck for the rest of the day. I feel your pain. Just love them up. All right. Good morning, White Chocolate Mocha. It's great to see you again. Tornado F5, the nature. Rooting for a market crash the day before Thanksgiving. Bah humbug, bro. Jay Harris, good. Nice to see you. River, nice to see you. Hugh, nice to see you. Chuck, it's always good to see you, my man. Good stuff. Fairchild, welcome back. By the way, Fairchild, that intro that I just played, that little video, you made that, didn't you? You made that, didn't you? Pretty awesome. We appreciate you. Bernhard, welcome back. Crimp Biscuit, welcome back. Ryan, they say you're so breaded up, they call you money fish sticks. That almost sounds like an insult, Jay Harris. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Oh, you know what? I have to share my screen before we dive into anything here. I'm already on turkey mode, guys. Try to do this. Try to be 2% better here. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Good morning, JJ. Great to see you. All right, we're going to take a look here at the SPY. We've pretty much just set new all-time highs, barely, and then we really don't do a whole lot. It feels like it's kind of I don't know, bottled up or compressed. Just doesn't really feel like we're getting a whole lot of these punches and moves to new all-time highs. So just kind of looking at the futures here ahead of the data that we're supposed to get, pretty much flat. S&P futures down 0.1%, Dow futures up 0.02, so basically flat, and NASDAQ down about 0.25%. So pretty much flat across the board. Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot going on with the futures. And if you look at the SPY here, we're pretty much right on this trend line. So I'm curious to see what kind of volume we get today. I know we've got these data prints, but my gut tells me that we're probably not going to be all that busy. And I would not be terribly shocked to see us have kind of a lower volume day here. So we'll see where we end up. That doesn't mean that we won't have plays. We will absolutely have plays. In fact, we got an ex-girlfriend that we got to talk about here. I see Bread and Butter talking about IDAI, which we lovingly call tramp stamp. So there's going to be plenty of stuff for us to do here today. We're going to go ahead and break that down for you. It is Wednesday, so we should have Tim Melvin joining us here in the morning. That will be about 26 minutes from now or thereabouts. We'll be able to ask him for some stuff. All right, let's go break down some of the top stories here today. The Fed minutes reveal confidence in the inflation reduction path that they've set, yet flag divergent views on interest rate path ahead. So it looks like this is going to be a lot of the same, right? We've heard that the interest rate cuts are not going to come as fast as the hikes did. None of that is unexpected. It seems like some Fed members disagree at how fast and how much. So every time we have one of these Feds, the discussion is going to be the same. Is it going to be 25 bips? Is it going to be 50 bips? Is it going to be a pause? We're already prepared for that. We already know how to deal with that. We already know how to prepare for that. So I really don't think that there's anything new going on right now. So we'll see. We'll see how this ends up playing out. But again, I don't think there's really any surprises here. The next big thing here is going to be for MicroStrategy. And this has really been an awesome stock. So I'm going to talk about the chart that I drew here in a sec, but I wanted to go over the news here first. Michael Saylor's micro strategy plunges 23% in 5 sessions, while Bitcoin only slips under 6%. Gary Black quipped, quote, "Don't say I didn't warn you," end quote. So the other thing is that, we kind of talked about this here on this show. I don't know that I really like the victory lap. No shade on Gary, but I think when you have movers like this, like, it's important to realize what stocks do on a regular basis. The stock just moved pretty high pretty quickly. It's a known volatile stock. And so this move on the backside really shouldn't surprise anybody. And we told you here a number of times not to chase these big moves, right? Kind of wait this out. This was actually my best day trade of the day yesterday because of that volatility. So I get it. We had a huge run. This candle right here, this looks pretty nasty. Looks like one of those mother bar candles. I mean, range on this is absolutely ridiculous. 76.5 points of range on this candle. Just wild stuff. But anyway, MicroStrategy, I don't think the die has been cast for this company yet. There is going to be lots of opportunity for this to continue to move. I'm still doing some more research here. I don't consider myself an expert, and because of that, I don't want to act like an expert. But there have been some recent accounting changes for public companies in terms of holding Bitcoin and where that appears on the balance sheet. And I would imagine that there's actually a ramp for this to, maybe even double and triple from here. I can't tell you when that's going to be. I can't tell you if it trades down 60% before it does that. But I do think that there's a big future here in MicroStrategy, and it behooves us to stay on top of it. So that's kind of what's going on here. We did have a 23% plunge in 5 sessions, but really not the end of the world, at least not in my opinion. One of the things that our happy hour members last night brought up about MicroStrategy, she said, hey, it sure looks like there's the start of a head and shoulders formation right here, with this move at the middle of November being the left shoulder, the head being very, very apparent here from the November 21st candle. And now we have the right shoulder here that might be formed. So we'll see where this trades. I went ahead and drew this on here just to see if we actually fill into this pattern. The levels that this is at, so the top end of this curve here is 428.28. The numbers are not necessarily important. The reality is that this right shoulder could actually resolve a little bit higher than the left shoulder, and the pattern might still be in there. So I just kind of added this to the chart just to see if this is what we kind of trade into. If we do, then maybe we could expect another down move. And frankly, if that's what we got here, and this thing was able to hold some of these key moving averages like the 50 or the 200 day that we talk about all the time, giddy up. I would be extremely excited for that. And I feel pretty good about taking maybe a longer term position and not just a scalp or a day trade. So good stuff on MicroStrategy. We are definitely going to keep watching this, and I definitely want to hear what you folks think of this and if you're trading that. Okay. Moving on here, we also got some other news out of China. And this is going to affect all of the usual suspects. A rebound in China stocks accelerated in the afternoon amid speculation that a key economic meeting expected in December may unleash more stimulus. We've been talking about this for a while. We talked about the last stimulus package really kind of being underwhelming, and they kind of expected more. Now we're getting some news on some of that. So I'm not surprised to see the usual suspects, whether it be Pinduoduo or Alibaba, ticker BA. Baidu would be another one that you can watch there. If Neo, you might even be able to watch there. If you're more a fan of the liquid ETFs, that's going to be Yin and Yang. Did I just type Yan? That's not going to do. Yin and Yang might be a way to kind of capture that. So a lot of these different Chinese names here likely to move. Let's keep an eye on some of that China stimulus and see how that actually affects the market. Also worth noting that some of these smaller Chinese stocks that we've talked about, even some of the ones that appear on the relative volume scanner, they might also respond to what's going on here, to that stimulus. So going to be really important to watch that. And we'll see if that gives us any trading opportunities. I actually, despite really disliking and not really trusting China stocks, I've got a couple of junky ones in very small size that I'm hoping pop off. If they do, I would add to those and trade it on the way back up. So that's what's going on here. Next is story here about Apple. Foreign smartphone sales in China dropped 44.25% year over year in October. The data shows Apple down just about 0.5% here in the pre-market. But as you can see, Apple's been relatively unfazed up here. Sure looks like we have this kind of ascending triangle. We have a pretty clear top here. We have it marked at 233, but the reality is here, you're probably looking closer to 236, 237. For that all-time high. And sure looks like this wants to break out here. If we do get a Santa rally here, which honestly, given what I've seen here this year, I'm kind of expecting that at this point. Would imagine Apple would participate in that rally. So keep in mind, we are getting some negative data here about smartphone sales in China. Suppose that really shouldn't surprise anybody, but I'm not willing to bet against Apple until it really kind of shows some more downside. And aside from some small pullbacks here, this thing has been an absolute monster. This is officially the best stock that I have ever invested in. Going back to 2014, I think my cost adjusted basis on this is like $22 now. So it just goes to show what can happen when you buy quality companies over the long term. I'm still pissed that my parents didn't listen to me way back in the day when I told them to buy the Google IPO. Damn, we'd all be millionaires right now if that were the case. But nonetheless here, I think Apple is going to be the safe play here. This story that we're getting here, I'm not necessarily fazed by this. I want to see some more. Okay? I want to see some more. Let me catch up with the chat here before we go ahead and break down some of those earnings movers that we had. Bread and butter. Love it. You want to talk about IDAI? We'll absolutely take a look at that. That's going to be one of our movers here today. So without a doubt, Diamond Hotline. What is the expiration on your Walmart options? Okay, well, I'm not sure why you want to know this. The Walmart options that I have are getting completely blasted. Like, I don't really care because the ELF trade was just so good. It actually completely paid for this trade, the SPY trade, and more. It looks like the SPY trade might end up working now. So I don't really feel hurt. I'm actually, now that I've got some more profit built up, I actually think I might take another stab at this to the downside. So here's the problem here. So just to answer your question, my options, the contracts I have here, I have the Walmart December 83 puts. Okay. The December 83 puts. That means that there is 23 days till expiry on those contracts. Now, Walmart here is $92 in the pre-market. I'm not sure that those 83 puts are, even if Walmart sells off, I'm not even sure that those 83 puts are going to make any money. So one of the things that I'm looking at, if I take another stab here, is not necessarily going to be adding to the current position that I have, but instead actually raising the strike on that. I might look at the 86, 85, 86 puts. In fact, I threw this out here with Anne-Marie yesterday. She said she really liked that level. At some point, gravity's got to matter here. You know, one of the things that we talked about the other day, let's see if I can actually make this a little bit easier for you folks to see. Here we go. This formation right here, the candles from Friday, November 22nd, and Monday, November 25th, this actually represents a tweezer top. And generally speaking, this is a reversal pattern, right? You get a nice little push up, including a gap, and you get a pull back down. This actually held the bottom of that gap. A lot of the times you see this roll over. It is not what we got. In fact, we got the opposite. It's actually behaved like a floating island, right? Came back in, held the bottom of this green candle here, and then went higher. So what I'm looking to do here is I do think that this is really going to come back in at some point. It's just too extended. Here's what the weekly chart looks like. And the monthly chart is just insanity. I mean, this thing is just completely vertical. And I'm not saying that like Walmart is like a bad company or anything, or it should be shorted or nothing like that. They're doing a great job, frankly. It's just this, look how fast this has moved. This is 60 points above the 200-month moving average. 60 points, 200% above that. I mean, just absolute incredible move here. So totally overcooked on the RSI, 87.35 on the monthly chart, 84 on the weekly chart, and 76 on the daily chart. So it doesn't matter what time frame you pick, the RSI, it's totally overbought here. So the thesis is just kind of trading this to the downside. I'm going to be looking at a higher strike. If the thing really sells off, then fine. I'll have some more puts to sell there. So Diamond, I hope that answers your question. Good morning, Kayla. It's great to see you again. Actually, not the intro I submitted. That was put together after my donated intro stepped on someone's toes, I think. Thank you, though. No, you definitely didn't step on anyone's toes. We actually have some staff members that control that stuff that are out right now. I'll follow up with them. I appreciate what you sent over. I actually really like it as well. So don't take that the wrong way. 3D, good morning. It's great to see you again. Is a good time to sell now or better to wait for the Santa rally? So this is a $64,000 question. First of all, I obviously can't advise you. The one thing that I would say is a lot of it depends on your cost basis and your time horizon and your initial trade plan. All of that I don't have the information on. I'm actually going to use Walmart here as an example because we actually just had this discussion again last night in happy hour. Stop me if you've heard that before. Walmart just got bought by one of our users just for kind of a long-term investment about the same time last year. And so if we look at that, this is like a 50 handle. And when we talked about what this means and you know, should you sell? I mean, just kind of looking at how far and how fast it's gone, there's definitely a good idea to take some of those gains. So I can't tell you what to do, but what I can say is that if your stock is really performing well, if that trade is really performing well, there's no problem with just kicking it out in multiple buckets. You don't have to sell everything at once. You can sell partial, and you can sell partial a few times. But that's going to be a case-by-case basis and is also going to depend, like I had mentioned, on your initial time horizon. Okay, really good stuff. Should you believe that MicroStrategy is going to trade up today? Honestly, I'm not really sure what MicroStrategy is going to do today. Looking over at Bitcoin here, we are trading up on Bitcoin, up 2.99% on the Bitcoin futures. So wouldn't be shocked, but MicroStrategy likes to do its own thing. So we'll see. We're going to be prepared for either direction that it goes. I'll definitely be looking at MicroStrategy here. Okay, saw a lot of put flow on Walmart yesterday, but then it just went higher. Keep smiling. Welcome to my world, man. That's exactly what I've been seeing too. It just keeps going higher. Just keeps going higher. But that's okay. This is actually one of the reasons why I chose to use options, is so I could define my risk ahead of time and not be holding an open short or anything like that. Okay. Amazing. Okay. Let's go ahead and break down some of the movers from yesterday. We're going to start here with Dell. This is not a stock that I trade. I know a lot of you have been. We're going to get to IDAI a little bit later, folks. Don't worry about it. We got plenty of time here on IDAI. It's a penny stock. It does not take priority over the rest of these larger stocks. As far as Dell goes, this is not one that I trade all the time, but this has really kind of been a good performer recently. Now, we did have earnings yesterday. It was a beat on the top and the beat on the bottom, or excuse me, it was a mixed report. It was a beat on the top line, miss on the bottom line. It was a slight miss on sales there, but they also had soft guidance. And I think that's the reason you're seeing Dell trade down here by 12.5%. Now, I don't think this is anything to get worried about for a number of reasons. First of all, the company is still crushing it. They're still doing really well, despite what the estimates are. They're not totally exposed to just the regular old consumer. They are, they have a lot of different business dealings and the whole nine yards. And then this move here, look where this move is taking us to. Stock is down $17.74 or 12.5%. We're sitting right at 124. That is right above this blue line, which is going to be your 200-day moving average. You can actually see that a lot of these moving averages are kind of clustered here together. This is not a bad thing either. And we've broken through the 20, we've broken through the 50, and it looks like we're kind of holding the 200 here. So as far as a trade goes here today, ideally, what I would love to see for a specific trade is a move down to this 122.71, maybe even 122.5, and then a hold there. And I think if you get that, you're probably going to get a bounce off the 200-day moving average. Now, obviously, if the 200 falls, you want to wait for this to really kind of base. Maybe give it a day or two for it to kind of come in a little bit and then reclaim that 200-day. If you get that, that would be another possible entry trigger there for Dell. So I have no position on this. I will watch this, though. So we'll take a look here at Dell. We'll see where this does. Again, down 12.5% here on the back of those earnings. All right, next one here that we want to go over real quick is going to be CrowdStrike. This is CRWD. Now, the last time we really talked about CrowdStrike here as a group, they were causing all sorts of hell. Their computer or their virus software knocked off a whole bunch of computers and it stopped people from traveling, and it was a mega nightmare. That led to a move down from about 400, actually tested 400, it looked like, but it moved all the way down and bounced clean off of the 500-day moving average. This represents about a 50% haircut on the stock. Since then, did a great job really holding that level, and it's grinded back higher ever since. It's done a really good job kind of recapturing some of these moving averages. One of the things I want you to notice is that the moving average that it flirted with the most was without a doubt the 200-day. So again, this is one of the reasons why we use those so often, or why we care about when a stock price moves to that level. As far as the earnings go, here was an EPS beat, 93 cents versus the 81-cent estimate, and the sales beat, 1.01 billion versus the 982 million estimate. Had some mixed guidance though. So CrowdStrike here down 1.66% here in the pre-market. Looks like we also had a rating change or a price target change here. Had a slew of price target changes here. Also had HSBC downgrade to hold and slash the price target to 347. So I'm not sure if I'm going to trade this one today. Kind of see how the earnings will shake out and all of that. So we'll see. Again, we are waiting for the PCE here today. That's going to be coming in about 8 minutes. We've got some more earnings to cover, and we definitely want to cover those numbers and see what those mean. And then we have the movers to cover here. But it's a Wednesday. You know what that means. That means it's time for Tim Melvin. Let's go ahead and bring him on. Tim, happy Wednesday. I'm just going to go ahead and get it right out there. I'm going to give you a preemptive happy Thanksgiving. I hope you and the fam are enjoying this. One of my favorite weeks of the entire year, boss.
Oh, mine as well. We had a big family dinner last night at a steakhouse. And today is like prep and turkey and stuffing, and there's all sorts of stuff going on over here on the other side of the house, and that'll continue all day. We're gonna have nice crowd of family and friends tomorrow, and we're gonna eat a lot of food, gonna watch a lot of football, have a lot of fun, and I don't have to buy any presents for anybody. It's very hard. It's very hard not to love a holiday where you just don't have to buy anybody anything.
Hey, I like gift giving, but I feel you there. Look, there's nothing better than a holiday that centers around food, family, football, and friends. And that's exactly what Thanksgiving is. You get all four of the F's there. So, okay, Tim, we do have the PCE data print coming here and the jobless claims coming at 8:30. I know that you're not a active day trader, but when those numbers drop, when I see that banner flash up here on the screen, I am going to read those numbers. We'll take a look.
No. They're important numbers, but now here's one thing I'll say.
Yeah.
Unless you're on the floor, trading in advance of those numbers is usually making donations.
I would completely agree with that.
You really need to respond to what that number does and not try to predict what it is, because you're playing multi-level chess at that point. Okay, you're not just trying to guess what the number's going to be. You're trying to guess the nuances of the number and how the market's going to react to the number. Remember, we've seen numbers that we thought we were great, but then there was a sentence in the accompanying press release that made the number not so great. And then we thought the market would react this way, and it reacted that way. And so you're just playing all kinds of chess. If you get a steep sell-off from the number, be a buyer. If you get a big rally, be a seller. It's not rocket science. You're going to make more money, whether you're a trader or an investor or however you come at this, by reacting to what actually happens rather than trying to predict what's going to happen and how Wall Street's going to react to the best guess of somebody about what may or may not happen with a specific report. So
that's really well put. And how many times, whether it's this data print, a CPI data print, or even like a Fed data print, how often have we seen a move happen and that reaction, and then the opposite happen 5 minutes later, or when the conference call starts?
Right. Or, option premiums get super inflated in both directions coming into the number, and nothing happens. Right.
And then the option sellers are the ones that win the day.
Right. And again, the only ones that make money are the option market makers to jack their premiums.
So, okay, we're going to check out that number when it comes out.
Okay.
But aside from that, what do you got here? What are you, besides the turkey week, besides the upcoming football games and holiday here, what are you seeing going on out there?
Well, here's the big takeaway from last week, and this was hysterical. COP29 was in all places, Azerbaijan, okay, which is a former Soviet nation. And COP is the Committee of the Parties, put on by the United Nations. Interesting name, isn't it? Committee of the Parties.
Yeah.
But it's the big climate change conference. And in years past, universal condemnation of the oil and gas industry. Every government was there, well represented. The presidents came in. Greta came in on her rubber boat, or however the hell she got there without using fossil fuels, and criticized the world. And it was a big deal. And whatever agreement they reached at the COP was taken away as the gospel for the climate change outlook and response over the next 50 years. Well, this year, it went a little different. First off, almost nobody from the United States and Europe even bothered to come. Argentina came, looked around, and said, "Why in the hell are we talking to you guys?" And they left. The theme of this year's conference was the transfer of money. How were we going to pay for smaller nations to deal with climate change, and who was going to pay for it? Now, who was going to pay for it, right? The Western world was going to pay for it.
Yep.
So they are saying it's $1.5 trillion a year that needs to be transferred from developed to undeveloped nations somehow. So they wanted governments to do like a third of that, and then private industry to do the rest. How that was going to work, I have no idea. Neither do they, by the way. The developed nations, a lot of them didn't even, they just didn't bother to pretend that they were going to do anything. But they fought over this agreement for 2 weeks, okay, in Azerbaijan, not a garden spot of the world by any stretch. So the president of the host nation is very pro oil and gas, and was actively on the sidelines making oil and gas deals the whole conference. It was hysterical. They went 30 hours over, right? Finally banging in an agreement at 2 a.m. on Sunday morning. So everybody could finally catch their flight home. Otherwise, everybody was going to reschedule. Now, you think rescheduling an airport in the United States is hard? Try rescheduling a flight out of Azerbaijan to anywhere in the world when everybody else in the world is trying to do the same thing. This was not going well. So they finally came to an agreement. And here's what they fought so hard over for 2 weeks with a 30-hour extension. Developed nations agreed to increase the amount that they will transfer to undeveloped nations to deal with climate change to $300 billion a year by 2035. They pressed China to outline what their contribution to climate change was going to be. China didn't even bother to respond. They just ignored it completely. They put in the agreement and made a great deal of. The only way they addressed China was the agreement encourages China to think about maybe someday making a contribution to cleaning up global climate change.
Someday. Why not? Why can't that day be today?
Well, I mean, 2 years ago, China signed a deal, and the whole world signed a deal where they were all going to commit to reducing emissions by a certain percentage. And it was a big percentage. The entire Western world agreed, we're going to start right now. China agreed that they would probably start thinking about meeting their commitments to reduce emissions by, let's call it 2035, maybe 2040. It could be that long. So everybody goes in wanting all these commitments. They sign all these treaties and they mean exactly nothing because they have no timelines, no commitments, no enforcement functions. And the biggest emitter in the world, China, just kind of sits there and they go to all the cocktail parties and they cut deals for oil and gas and roads and belts on the sideline, belts and roads with smaller developed nations, and they ignore the whole damn thing. And the climate change crowd treats it like, it's some sort of gospel. So where am I going with this? It doesn't matter how we look at this, okay? The renewable energy and electric vehicle dreams are just that. And I've been saying this for 5 years. They're just dreams. They're hopes and wishes. Not only won't they happen, they cannot happen for a very long time. We'll get there. It's like the nuclear energy. We all want to get there. We're not getting there tomorrow. We're not getting there next week. It's going to be a while. Where does that leave us? The same place I talk about on a regular basis. It's natural gas.
Yeah, let me interrupt you there. It seems like what is kind of getting glossed over in this entire discussion is the transitional phase that you're talking about, that natural gas transitional phase. I don't really hear a whole lot about that. I hear about the terrible state that we're in now and the utopian state that we want to get to and how fast it's going to be. And it just doesn't make any sense. The timelines don't line up. So I'm with you here on the natural gas. Really quick, we did get the initial jobless claims here, 213,000 versus 215,000 estimate. The prior read was 215,000. S&P futures here barely reacting to this as they are still flat. So there you go.
That's enough. That is a nothing number. I also believe that's that's just an absolutely nothing number. And when we tear these reports apart, you really find out, you get into the Challenger and the gray layoffs reports. There's no big waves of layoffs coming like anywhere. The jobs market is really healthy going into 2025, making the Fed's job just much more difficult at this point in time, because you've got all these little cracks and you're looking out and you're seeing tariffs and geopolitical and you're worried that that's going to cause a crack in the economy. But then the consumer goods come in. Look at durable goods. That's a pretty good number right there.
I was going to say U.S. durable goods month over month here, 1/10. The estimate was for -0.8. Big beat there. Also, you had the U.S. GDP here, 2.8% versus 2.8% estimate. Prior read was 3%.
Yeah. And so it's, the economy, this is not this booming economy, but guys, if we're honest about it, and I know all the claims of I had the greatest economy in the world. No, wait a minute, I did. They're both, I'll call it what it is. They're both lying. Okay. All of them. Every president since Bill Clinton left office is lying about it because it wasn't. All right. Like him, love him, hate him, don't care. He had a fantastic economy. We're in this kind of plus or minus 2 or 3%. And right now that's just where we're cruising along, and it's not going to get any better for a while. In fact, you don't want it to, because if we get up to 5 to 6% growth, what's going to happen to inflation is going to cause a crash. So going into the new year, you can look ahead and say all of these things might happen, but the reality is it's pretty damn good.
Okay, so with that, that's actually perfect. So with that as the backdrop, I know you were just talking about natural gas. What are you looking at going into 2025?
Well, first off, I don't look at, I look at 3 things and 3 things only. All right. Now, I will sit around with you over coffee or whatever, and we can debate politics and economics, and it's fun to talk about. My son-in-law's an economist. He'll be here later on, and we'll talk about all this stuff and kick it around. It doesn't really matter. We don't have to be economics or geopolitical experts if we understand one simple thing. It all shows up in either price or value. Okay. So it's either going to show up in trend, it's going to show up in momentum, or it's going to show up in valuation. When and only when it shows up in price and trend, momentum, or value, then we as investors can respond to that. Okay. If it doesn't show up there, it's just a cute theory and something that's fun to talk about. Like, when you looked at, looking at natural gas, it's a cute theory. And when you look at the assets, they're trading at these like stupid valuations, or at least they were several months ago. They've improved a little bit, where you had stuff trading at 5 times earnings and yielding 6%. And you're seeing stuff in the midstream where you're able to collect 8-9% yields from closed-end funds trading at 12 to 15% discounts. That's price. Now it's showing up in value, right? Eventually, it's going to show up in trend. When you come over to momentum and you see that a company's got excellent fundamentals, they're growing, earnings are growing, revenues are growing, everything's growing, and the price is going higher, right? All this good news does not mean a damn thing until it begins to show up in price. So all this news and noise is just exactly that, Ryan. It's news and noise until it shows up in either value or price. Now, what we do when we focus on just that, value, momentum, trend, we take all of our biases, all of our opinions, right? Value's better, growth stock's better, Bitcoin's better. The market doesn't care what we think is better. It's going to do what it's going to do, and that's what we have to respond to, right? And when you look at trend, it's I've heard for 3 years now, well, grain prices can't go down forever, Ryan. They just can't. I mean, there's food demand. There's just this demand and that demand and this reason, then the weather, and the prices just keep going down. And they
so
haven't.
it can't trade negative like oil did.
I mean, one would certainly hope not. But I mean, what, they gonna give us food? I mean,
Exactly.
So, but now eventually grains are gonna change course, all right, and it'll show up in price, and it kind of looks a little ticky bit like it might be today, but you can't act on that until it does. So all this discussion and all the instant experts of the internet and all, you got to get all that out of there because it shows up in valuation, it shows up in price, right? And when it shows up in those places, then we've got something to do with our money. Until then, we're just shooting the bull.
Okay.
So that's and the other place that we do track obviously is insider buying, and you're not seeing a lot of insider buying right now. So we're seeing a little tiny bit in a couple of banks. We're seeing a little tiny bit in some energy companies. I'm just looking at my list here.
I was gonna say, are you getting ready with the Thanksgiving goodies? Because that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah. It's of course. Sorry, guys, delayed it with ideas and stuff. Let's get in and give free stocks away.
It's the holidays. Come on.
Let's get to it, Melvin. Come on, damn it. All right, here's one where we are seeing some insider buying, and it's from a beneficial owner called Turtle Creek Asset Management. And I'm going to mention this one first because I absolutely love this business. The company is JELD-WEN, JELD, JELD-WEN Holdings. It's a building products company. They make doors and windows, right? And we are going to have a boom in new construction of homes. We can't not have one. The trick to this is we saw some improvement in new home sales this past month. It's got to start to trickle down into the lower end, okay? The first-time buyer and the first-time move-up buyer. But we're short millions of homes, and it depends whose estimate, but it's between 2 and 6 million homes.
Yeah.
One of the reasons multifamily has been a great business is because these people are either can't or are afraid to go out and buy that home because affordability is an issue, because there's a total lack of existing home supplies, and because mortgage rates are higher. Now, JELD-WEN just got a hit. You can see it on the chart.
Yep.
The stock is now down. They're in the middle of an earnings reversal from a loss last year to what should be a healthy gain. It's trading at just a little bit over book value, 25 cents on the dollar of sales. And you've got Turtle Creek, who are really smart asset managers. They just keep buying millions of dollars worth of stock week in and week out. This is a great business that when this picks up, they'll have great margins. it's well run, it's well financed. They don't have any, looming credit issues or anything of that nature. They've been around since 1960, so they've been through one or two of these, distorted home buying and building markets. I'm pretty sure they'll come out the other end of this. So with the buying there, and we're starting to definitely see the reflection of the environment in value, the kind of lag between what we know we need and the process actually starting. So that's a stock worth keeping an eye on, with eye towards accumulating. Or you can wait until the fundamentals do start improve and some momentum comes into it, but you need to be aware of the stock.
Real quickly here, one of the things that's the most appealing here is that it does look like this has held 10 twice recently. So it looks like we actually have a pretty decent bottom put in here at 10. I did want to ask you, I saw yesterday, I saw a graphic that all of the new home sales were revised down. All of them. All new home sales. So now again, that's new home sales. That's not existing homes. So obviously that's a little bit different, but that to me feels like there might be a rug pull coming in here. We actually had a pretty good question here from thinking about it with regards to this. Excuse me. I thought home builders were supposed to have topped. We actually had Matt Malley, Mark. We had Matt Malley on here talking about a potential short in TOL, one of these home builders that just kind of looks extended here. You got any thought on that? I know you're talking here about gelled, but any thought on home builders maybe kind of topping out?
It's possible. It is possible in the short term, and Matt Malley and I think in entirely different time frames. Okay, Matt's trade is done by the time I'm just starting to notice that I actually still have a position in the stock. So could there be some profit taking? Yeah, maybe. I think what you've got to watch here, the bigger, higher end home builders, which Toll Brothers is the king of the higher end. Okay,
Yep.
They've had a great run up. They've had tremendous profits, tremendous expansions. I will say that you are stepping in front of a steamroller. Okay, because if we get into this new administration and everything goes right, there's not a spike in interest rates because of tariffs. Everything goes right, and we get lower taxes, we get backed up regulations, we get everything, and there's a chance, right? There's always a chance that everything goes right. That thing's going to steamroll you. So could it have topped? I'm not a technical analyst guy. Right now, the price is telling me it wants to be higher. So I'm not going to step in front of that. Valuations, well, tricky thing. Builders are a lot like car companies, right? You look at this thing and say, oh my God, it's just trading at only 11 times earnings and it's got this great growth rate. This stock is cheap. Except, there's a pretty good chance in the higher end home builders, you're looking at peak profits. So you really want to be buying them when they're trading well below book value. And they have these sky high nosebleed PE ratios, because that means profits are troughing. So it's kind of cyclical, but
that's really good stuff there. Thinking about it, look, we're going to bring you this is what makes a market. We're going to bring you different opinions here. That's how we do things. So Tim, really, really good stuff there. Jane, I like this. I have a new statistic. All the new homes are ugly and cheaply built. I've actually seen a lot of that. A lot of that myself.
Jane, you're correct. And I want to welcome you to the new America. Okay, because it ain't getting any better. All right. And here's the thing about all those ugly homes, and you know what? And they are ugly, and you can literally look into your neighbor's bathroom.
That's the worst. It's the
right.
worst.
No, it's awful. Right. It's like what your neighbor had for dinner, and if they're firing up the pot of chili, you just leave for the weekend because you don't want to be there. It's ridiculous. People are paying 7 figures for these houses that are this close together.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But hey, look, they're selling, and especially out here, they're selling their hotcakes. And I've tried. Right, I tried. We lived in this really nice gated community when we first moved down here, and we had decided we were going to rent for a little bit here because we wanted my youngest daughter to finish high school in a particular school. Then we buy where we wanted to be. I God, did I hate that house. And it was a great house, and it had the pool, and it backed up to a game reserve, but it had an HOA. It was, and my neighbor, bless her, they would come down, and they were only down for the winter, but the whole time they were there, she would sit out by the pool and she would play really loud, really bad music, and she would sing along. And that was just more than I could take. But they are ugly. They do look cheap, and they're going to build a gazillion more of them. And there's nothing you and I can do about it except not live in one.
We can try and shake it off.
We can
Speaking
try.
of bad music.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Yeah. Sorry. Had to. I had
Listen,
to do that. Look, I know.
My wife and granddaughter are sick Taylor Swift fans, and they both just saw Wicked. So all I've heard for a couple of days now, and all I'm going to hear for the rest of the week, is Taylor and Ariana. All right, and I'm not a fan of either.
Okay.
I mean, I'm kind of a John Prine, Tom Waits kind of guy. So this is like, oh my God, earmuffs, please. But all right, let's get back to some insider buying. On the bank side, PVBC, Provident Bancorp. I love this bank, and I love this bank because it's a great little bank in Amherst, Massachusetts, trading for below book value. Earnings stink. Ignore them. They don't matter. In banks, what matters is the price to book value. They're in Amherst, Massachusetts. It's not a huge bank. It's about a $205 million market cap. Doesn't trade a lot. Use the limit orders on this one, guys. They had a new CEO came in, and he was going to be the super banker, and he was going to get super involved with digital currencies and Bitcoin miners and a whole bunch of other stuff. And here's the thing. Banking that business right now is not a wise business choice. We've seen it. That's how it worked out. The bank stock got hammered. They finally obviously had to get rid of the CEO. And I met him at a couple conferences. Great guy. Really believed in his digital currency view of the future. And I hope he landed somewhere really nice. But banking that stuff has been a horrible business. So the stock kind of got hit. They bought some new people in from the normal side of the banking industry. They have plenty of capital. They've, slowly but surely got rid of the garbage loans that turned bad from all the Bitcoin miners and cryptocurrency companies. So plenty of capital, great franchise up in the state of Massachusetts. Just looking, equity to assets is 13.7, which is between 30 and 40% above their average competitor. Book value is growing. So extremely well capitalized. Loan portfolio has dramatically improved from the episode of stupidity. They are buying back stock now. We've got some insider buying going on. It's a great little bank up in Massachusetts that is now back to being a great little bank. And it's been around for a long time. It's, they did their thrift conversion offering back in 2011, but the bank itself has been around for a very long time. Massachusetts is one of the most attractive and quickly consolidating banking markets in the country. Had a nice earnings report, so the stock popped a little bit, still pretty cheap. You could be a buyer of this, and on a pullback, you can be a bigger buyer. There's no dividend or anything like that. It's a great little bank. Insiders are buying more stock. They already own over 10%. This thing is dying to be bought out under a more permissive M&A environment.
Okay. And this actually already a pretty nice double off of a 6 handle, which happened earlier in 2023. All right. You got more?
I always have a whole big list here. So
let's do it.
All right. So here we go. Carlyle Secured Lending. And this is a business development company. It's associated with obviously
ticker?
CGBD.
Okay.
And this is associated with the Carlyle Group. So obviously, David Rubenstein and his team that run the Baltimore Orioles are associated with it. It is now yielding 9%. Fantastic balance sheet. Really strong loan portfolio. 100% secured loans. One of the better. We're nervous about BDCs. Just not even going to kid about that. We think that private credit could be a problem. If anything goes wrong anywhere in this economy, private credit's going to be an issue. However, These guys are in better shape. They've got access to Carlyle's very deep pockets. And what's real big for the private equity associated BDCs, why we prefer them over any other, they have access to the client list, because the biggest borrowers of private credit are private equity sponsored companies. So they've got the Rolodex and can pick the ones they want to. Trading right at asset value, 9% dividend, been decently strong insider buying from one of the directors, Mark Jenkins, 4 months. And, he's just buying a few $100,000 worth of stock a month and just cruising along. We like the stock. We like the business. We obviously love the dividend. And I think that's one that you can stick into your portfolio and just kind of forget about.
Okay. Love stocks like that. That is awesome.
And then let's see, what else do we have in here that's really interesting? Okay. I'm going to give you this one. Oscar Health. Now, Oscar Health sold off sharply. It was on a hot roll, in fact. It sold off because they are an insurance company. And as everybody knows, Donald Trump is going to kill all insurance companies. He's going to just line them up and shoot them. Going to do away with the Affordable Care Act, going to change everything about insurance. Nobody knows how, but by golly, he's going to do it. So Oscar Health sold off. And when Trump did win the election and made some comments about health insurance, the stock got smacked. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a fantastic business. OSCR, Oscar Health. Now, Oscar Health came public. It was a SPAC deal. It was a little bit of a busted SPAC for a while. And then they kind of got their feet under them. And they, if you look under the news on this thing, that, Ohio, Texas, Tennessee, Kansas, Iowa, Georgia, Florida, they've all announced new plans and new markets. They're steadily opening new markets. They take a very, very tech-forward approach to health insurance, both in the underwriting, in dealing with the regulators, and the claim processing. We'll tell you, when we were up in Orlando, we had them as our health insurance carrier for the business, and they were fantastic. One of the better insurance companies I've ever dealt with. So here's what's going to happen, folks. I don't care how Donald Trump replaces this. Okay. Now they're going to find out when they get in that you can't just repeal it. All right. You have to have a plan to replace it. So however either they don't appeal it or they replace it. However that happens, Oscar Health, with his very tech forward, easy to use, well underwritten, cost effective insurance plan, is going to be a player in the health insurance business for now and forever. The fundamental momentum, as I like to call it, is fantastic. Earnings are just growing at this incredible pace. So are revenues. Margins are decent. As the retail selling from the election begins to peter out, we're starting to get institutions coming back in as buyers. And when this thing cracked, insiders went nuts. The co-founder and vice chairman came in. He bought over $3 million worth of stock. One of their original institutional investors came back in and said, "Oh my God, this is too cheap." They bought a bunch more. So you've got insiders buying, you've got excellent fundamental momentum, and a business that absolutely nobody that was selling bothered to even look into or try to understand. So again, great business, powerful fundamentals, a distortion in price caused by the election that is in the early process of reasserting it, trend reasserting itself and changing. 50 cents on a dollar of sales for a really rapidly growing company with insider buying. You got to pay attention to this one, guys. This has the potential to be a monster stock.
Okay. All right. Really good stuff. Actually sitting right there beneath the 200 and the 50 right there. All right. Real quick. I did have two questions here that I want to get you out of here on. Appreciate the goodies prior to Thanksgiving, as always. Thinking about it here is saying, ask Tim if he follows, I'm going to butcher this, Duquesne Family Office, the Stan Druckenmiller Fund.
You'd have to be an idiot not to. I mean,
Okay.
seriously.
Enough said. I mean, that was pretty easy.
And Druck is really good. He's the best out there. And I think I mentioned this on a previous call. Look, you need to check in with Druckenmiller's doing, because he's one of the few older guys that's still outperforming at a very high level. Just keep in mind that, in Druckenmiller's case, you go back and read the interviews in Market Wizards and the more recent one he did. You can find a transcript on the web if you look hard enough. He doesn't just go run in and buy the stock, but he's been the most insightful guy in the markets for the last 50 years, worked with Soros. He's one of the legitimate geniuses of the market. So absolutely, we pay attention to what he's doing. We don't routinely clone Stan because he doesn't fit in with a lot of what I do personally, or that we do for other folks. But we're always really well aware of what he's doing.
Okay, or a real good answer there. And then lastly, I'll get you out here on this. Stay focused. Good morning, Ryan. What are Tim's thoughts, if any, on the new Treasury Secretary?
Oh, thanks, man. I owe you for asking me this one because I really appreciate it. Our new Treasury Secretary is supposed to be this super sophisticated Wall Street expert, and everybody loves him because he just understands the business, and he's a hedge funds guy, and he was part of the Soros trade that busted the pound. And here's the reality of this, folks. First off, Druckenmiller was the portfolio manager when Soros busted the pound. There's a whole other bunch of people associated with the trade, but the people that made the call were Stan Druckenmiller and George Soros. Okay. Our new Treasury Secretary just happened to be there. First off, he files Keystone Capital. $2 billion of the money comes from Soros, gets up to $5 billion. This guy's track record is terrible. I've blown his doors off, right? He's up a little bit this year, but he has struggled. Right. It has not been a top performing hedge fund by any stretch of anybody's imagination. He's talking about doing a shadow Fed, the way the British have a shadow government. No, it's not going to work. All right. He's not. I liked Worsher better, right? Because he was a former Fed official who had strong politics. I'm hopeful. I think Donald Trump should have all of his people that he wants around him, with a couple of exceptions, and we won't get into that.
Okay.
Family show. I don't like the pick. I'll just be brutally honest. I don't think he's going to live up to expectations. And I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think that he's the guy we wanted in this spot. The guy would have loved to have seen Mark Rowan from Apollo. That would have been just absolutely the perfect pick of a guy who understands Wall Street, understands market, understands middle America and business, and understands what it takes to run the Department of the Treasury. So I hope I'm wrong, but I don't like the pick.
Okay. Awesome question. Stay focused. We expect nothing less. Awesome answer, Tim. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. We'll leave you with this. Saw Druckenmiller video that Tim recommended. It is great. Go check it out. Tim, we really appreciate all of your time.
No problem,
really
guys.
good stuff. Yeah, really good stuff here today. Do me a favor, all right? Enjoy your Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you next week.
I will, and you do the same. And thank you again, everybody. I really enjoy coming on here Wednesday talking to you guys. Have a fantastic, safe, fun-filled Thanksgiving. And if you don't eat too much tomorrow, I'm going to be very disappointed in you.
That makes two of us, Tim. Thanks very much.
Thanks,
Have
guys.
a good one. Okay, awesome. Bless you. I know that was my own fault. I actually clicked the button.
No, I was just trying to blow something off of my mouse.
There you go. Tim Melvin, really good stuff here this morning. His departure leaves room for 13. Good morning. Really quickly here. Oscar, no way, declining revs. Oscar won't pay your claims even when they say they will. Sounds like he needs to dump a bunch of Oscar. LOL. Wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot full. Okay, this is exactly what makes a market. This is awesome. I'm glad that you folks commented on this. Let me set a calendar reminder to check back in on Oscar in 6 months. So we're going to check back in here on May. Today is the 27th. Let me do a calendar reminder for the Tuesday morning, May 27th. Check price of OSCR. This type of stuff, folks, this is exactly what we want. We want varying opinions. We want people to not all just kind of think the same. We want them to have their own lines of thought. I thank both of you for bringing this up. Let's check back in 6 months and see where that's at. All right. We'll let the price and we'll let the performance of these stocks do all of the talking. Okay. Really good stuff. 13, just to kind of set the stage here. First of all, I am about as excited as it gets because tomorrow is Thanksgiving. I know that I know that you feel the same way, but we have one more session to get through here. We've got money to be made. Really, the only thing I have not run down is the movers. So do you want to start with that, or do you have anything that's really kind of jumping off the page that you want to start with instead?
Oh, no, just noticed that the one that we saw run yesterday on millions of shares of volume was IDAI, and that's up again this morning. Junky name, don't know how it's going to trade, but this was one of the happy hour specials. And it seems like it's looking for $1. I don't know if it'll get there though.
So real good stuff. I'm glad that you started with this because honestly, when I was running down the SPY, some of the earnings and some of the big pieces of news that we had overnight, there were a number of chatters that were asking about this. Or we're wanting to take a look at this. Sean, I hope you're still there. We are covering IDAI bread butter. I think your name should be bread and butter, but you didn't ask me. Bread butter, IDAI. Here we go. So first of all, just to kind of recap here, the name of this company is T-Stamp. Our group, because we love to come up with nicknames and we love to joke around a little bit, have affectionately called this Tramp Stamp. So if you hear us referring to that, we're not talking about some poorly thought out tattoos. We are actually talking about this company, ticker IDAI. Okay, so your really good point yesterday about this trading up here. We've talked about this on Happy Hour a whole bunch. We actually had one of our Happy Hour members was buying this up hand over fist, I think like hundreds of thousands of shares at like 30 cents. And so here we are here at 79 cents. So I too did not take this one. I've traded this in the past before, but didn't really trust this one. Look, we've got an AI theme going on, and this seems to be part of it. So I actually haven't looked into the news flow on this yet today. Did we have? No, doesn't look like we have any new news.
It's exactly what I said it would be. Because remember yesterday I was saying this is going to be a relative volume play.
Yep.
Yeah, because look at yesterday had the highest volume of shares traded ever in the entire company's history, and it was over like 540 times the float. I mean, I don't know how they managed to. There must have been some naked shorting getting covered here, but in the first 10 minutes of the market open, we traded over 100 million shares. I thought that was quite fantastic, but. Our relative volume was why we're seeing this move again. Not to mention that a lot of those tickers that have AI in the symbol are also seeing some elevated volume as well. We saw starting last week, BBAI was starting to move. This morning, I can look on the list I have here. I think MDAI is also moving, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that's a 14%. So tickers with AI in the name. This is just how dumb the market is right now. It's moving those names that are, especially the ones that are low float, that have very few shares to float, very easy to move around. That's one of the reasons why IDAI is also having the movement that it is today.
Look, we call this Turkey Crack Week for this reason. I mean, you're gonna get stocks like this that move like crazy like this, and I mean, look. The stock having AI, literally just having the letters AI in the ticker is enough of a theme, especially this week, to catch some of these movers here. So again, no position here on IDAI. I think what I'd like to see for a potential trade here is maybe a back test of the 73 cent level. Maybe if this pulls into 72, 71, but the nice little pullback here and a hold sets it up to go higher. We really want to keep an eye on the volume. I mean, just kind of looking at this, just look at the volume, right? Yesterday, you talked about this being the largest volume day in the company's history. We had gigantic volume out of the open. Are we really surprised to see this trade up right out of the open? I'm not. And then when we look at today, we're seeing several legs in the pre-market here. All of them correspond to the expanding volume. This is your trigger here. This is what we want to watch here today. Ticker IDAI.
Yeah, and the price action today on this one might not be as good as yesterday. Still think we could get some kind of pop at the open, but I don't know how far it's gonna run, and it may end up closing lower than yesterday's close as well. So just keep that in mind with these particular names, especially going into the long weekend.
Okay. Really good stuff there. Let's keep rolling down the movers list here. We're going to do CYCN next. Then we'll get to UMAC here. I see the chat.
Oh, don't worry.
Already.
I got UMAC on the list here.
Chat is already popping off here. Okay. CYCN. I don't see any fresh news. The last piece of news we had was an insider sell from Monday. I'm going to take a look around the horn here. Pretty much nothing on the short interest. Again, that insider sell is all we really saw here. Didn't really see any volume yesterday. Do you know what's going on with this one by chance?
I don't think so. I have some suspicions on what's happening here, but I haven't confirmed that's what's actually moving this. Does have some cash, about 1 to 2 quarters. They have 1.85 million shares in the float. Other than that, I really didn't have a whole lot of news. They didn't do any reverse splits that I could see. And they're a biotech company, so I'm not exactly sure what it's moving on. I could look into it a little bit more, but I don't think I would really find anything that's going to be important to the purpose of trading it here. It's moving, and that's all that we need to see. So we just need to watch for setups, volume, and see if we can get any trade out of this. Otherwise, it's just a junky pump.
What was the therapeutic company that got taken out yesterday? It started with a P. Someone help me out here.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think it's PDYN, Paladine Corp.
No,
I think that's
PDYN. It was the one that there was no trade on. It was like a $2.
Oh, that's an AI. Yeah. Sorry, I mentioned an AI one. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I wanted to say it was PRFX, but that's not it. PFRX. Maybe I'm just mixing it up. Wow, God, I'm sorry. I don't have this written down anywhere. From
PGHL
yesterday.
says Market Sniper.
No, it's not PGHL. That was the halt thing that opened up, and no, it wasn't VC either. It started with a P, guys. It started with a P. We didn't cover it very much. We didn't really look at it because it had a
This is the one that went to like 1,000%, right? You're talking about?
No, that's the PGHL one. This is the one that was bought out here. Let me see if I can find it. PSTX, is that it?
Okay.
That might be it. Let's take a look here. God, I clicked on the wrong thing again, trying to find all of this. PSTX. Yeah, this is it. Thank you.
All right. Danny
and producer out here just doing work. So I wonder, is this at all related to this? Create life-saving therapeutics for patients with high unmet medical needs. High unmet medical needs is a pipeline of allogenic. So okay, so I'm almost wondering if this is at all similar. Since this one got bought out, we really don't have news. Maybe there's somebody that's a little bit tipped off, and that this is a potential buyout. I'm speculating. I have no idea if this is the case. I'm literally trying to connect some dots here. This is it commercialized the breakthrough of treatments for serious orphan diseases. So kind of, but maybe not really. Anyway, that would be something to look into. I'm not going to do it here live and fumble around, but this is my best guess. Maybe this is a thought here that this is a potential acquisition target. Really kind of fits in with that. Okay, we'll see. We're going to have plenty of time on that. We can dive into that a little bit more. Yeah. I was just spitballing there. Let's get to UMAC, because this one the chat is clearly waiting for. If you take a look at the pre-market here, this thing has got the action. Unusual Machines is the name of the company ticker UMAC. Unusual Machines are trading higher after the company announced that Donald Trump Jr. has joined its advisory board. So, okay, first thing, so the Trump name here likely pumping this. This is the developmental stage technology company. Really don't have a whole lot on what this does. 13, what do you got here on this one?
Yeah, I mean, it's moving on the news that Trump Jr. is on the advisory board. This has just under 7 million shares in the float. The company does need cash, though. I think this may be getting viewed as just something that traders are going to pile into, just because it potentially could move, like like how Jared Kushner's company, we were looking at different things that he was getting invested in when Trump was in office last. I think this is being viewed kind of along the same lines. Whatever Trump Jr. or any other Trump family member is getting involved in, it's the stock's likely to get some movement.
And that's exactly, you're right. That's exactly what we're seeing here.
So I think that's what so that's likely what is happening with UMAC. It could happen with other companies if there's any other Trump family members attached to them, or Kushner for that matter. So another theme to watch for, and I think that's really all that we got here with UMAC is that the advisory board, Trump Jr.
Okay, sweet. That's what's going on here with UMAC. You already touched on the float there being just shy of 7 million. This one likely to be in play here today. Actually, I'm going to queue this one up in the prop for maybe a move right out of the open. Okay, there we go. I'd actually love to see. Oh, it's going literally as we're speaking here. Going up and testing 9. I'd actually like to see. I'd actually like to see this back at the VWAP there at about $7.50. But we'll get back to this. There's going to be plenty of action here today on this one. HWH International. This was a penny stock yesterday. This popped here today and has been bleeding ever since. I don't see any news on this. Is this kind of a junky box job? Maybe. Looks like we had an insider buy yesterday at 68 cents, 4.4 million shares.
That's likely what it's on, because that was in the PM.
Yep.
When it was like just before the market, the after hours market closed. I think about 45 minutes before after market closed. So yeah, that's likely what it has to be. This huge insider buy, 4.4 million shares. Is that right? 4.4 million shares, and the float is 5.3. Now the shares outstanding are 22.2. So I don't know how. I mean, look,
I tend to trust SEC forms on their face, and this is a direct form from the SEC. So you're asking me if this is correct. I'm going to have to say yes until proven otherwise. Frankly,
I'm not saying this is. I mean, okay, maybe I was asking if that's correct, but I think I'm also kind of wondering how many of that was actually from the float, and how many of that is, restricted or otherwise. That's part of the outstanding shares.
Okay. Also, looks like this is an active stake. I wonder if this is the same one. It's got to be.
Yeah. So I didn't read that. I didn't even look at the HWH International today, but that appears to be why it's moving up this morning.
Okay.
Actually, it already popped, and it just hasn't recovered from this leak.
Yeah, and it's been beneath the VWAP. I'm probably not interested in this one, but at least we covered it. Okay, next one here is going to be VSIG. Can you believe it?
IDAI and VSIG in the same day.
I know. The day before Thanksgiving, we have a happy hour member that has really kind of been scraping the bottom of the barrel for some of these junk stocks, and they all seem to be working for him. So hats off to him.
Trash is turning into treasure for sure.
Trash turning into Trevor. We might see this on JB's Fantastic Finds coming up here. It's an inside joke for anyone who watches CNBC. VCI Global shares are trading higher after the company announced it received a conditional letter of award valued at approximately $24 million for its proposed data center project in Enstek City, Malaysia. Okay, Malaysia data center. Okay. This is popping here. This did a recent reverse split, so it should actually trade a little bit better. Just kind of eyeballing this, like to see this move over 280. You might actually get a pop to 3, and if we blow through 3, we could even pop higher. We'll take a look at the level 2 when we get there. But there we go. VSIG popping here. VSIG popping here. You got anything else on this one?
2.5 million shares in the float. You already mentioned the reverse split, the short interest. Not really that much, but when I look at this and the formation that it's got, as long as we hold above VWAP, we could see this pop higher than 3 into the open. Don't know how much we're going to get out of this today, but it's got a good formation going into the open right now.
Okay. Next one here is going to be IFBD. Looks like the order here has changed around a little. This is InfoBird. We've traded this one here before. We're going to start off with a congratulations, Market Sniper. I just want to say I was finally able to drop off my IFBD bag after 8 months. Market Sniper, congratulations. I got to imagine that feels like a piano off of your back. Really good patience to stay in there for 8 months, waiting for your day and then capitalizing when your day arrives. Really, really good stuff there. Can't advise taking this stock home, but glad you're able to get out of this. This one up 37.4%. This popped in the after hours. It's been bleeding all pre-market. You think there's still a trade here?
I don't like the way the early formation looks. That seems to be like a head and shoulders. You can see what I'm talking. You see what I'm talking about there in the after hours.
You were talking right here, and then right here, I believe.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Either way, that all looks bearish to me, and we're resolving that way. So, I would think that it's at the open, we're probably going to bottom out. That's just the trajectory we're on. This could end up reversing, just because it's pretty much given a good amount of that whole move back. I think the head and shoulders could pretty much be considered resolved. So I would just wait and see what we get at the open on this one. It might go a little bit lower, maybe down to 230, but I think most of this selling is already taken place.
Okay.
And we might have an opportunity for it to turn around after the open.
Okay. Really good stuff there. And good morning, Carmen, Jay, Beach Bum, Jay Wild, both Jays here, Robert, Jay Summers, Izzy. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Okay. Next here, I definitely want to talk about TRNR. This for sure is an ex-girlfriend here. I know that you've covered this one here. This is interactive. Say that again. Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, Interactive Strength. Interactive Strength shares are trading higher after the company announced it received a letter from the NASDAQ confirming its compliance with the listing rule and will successfully conclude hearings and panel appeal process. So congratulations. This is moving on the ridiculous theme that we've identified of regaining NASDAQ compliance. You can close the book on that. That's the end of that chapter, as they say. Stock popped here. I'm not sure why it popped here when we kind of knew that this was going on here. We're currently holding up 37.5%. This thing was actually above 5 earlier. We're a little extended from the VWAP, so as long as we put in a bottom here, we make a dash to that VWAP, this could be a potential trade. Real quick look around the horn here. It is shorted, 12.24% of the float shorted, not a whole lot on the days to cover. We did have insider buying back in 2023, but nothing notable as of late. And this is one of those micro floats under $1 million. So what do you got here on TRNR here, 13?
Hey, it's what you said, this ridiculous theme that we've identified, the NASDAQ recompliance. It's still hot. That's why it's moving here. This has been reverse split into under 1 million shares. They did a 1 for 100 back on November 11th and also a 1 for 40 back on June 14th. So that has now resulted in the small float that they have. What was it here? Hold on, I took it off my screen for a second. But it's 624,000 shares. And so that makes it very easy to push around. Don't really have anything else on it. It looks like it's trying to find a bottom in pre-market, and the MACD is indicating that it's trying to turn around. So let's see if that's what we get at the open. I want to see it move back up to VWAP at the very least.
Okay. Really good stuff there. Good morning, Walter. It's great to see you here. Good morning, Anthony. Great to see you here. And of course, Tom as well. It did look like TRNR here maybe came in towards that 65 EMA on the 5-minute. Didn't quite print it, but we did come in towards that level. So we'll see if we get a bounce here.
It looks like UMAC could end up being a wild one today. It's already up to 11.
Yep.
So let me see if I can find.
I tell you what, it's almost like that Trump name is just magic when it comes to stocks, because boy, oh boy, this thing, you get that PR here. Look at this ramp.
Oh, this was a recent IPO. Okay. So we're in blue sky territory.
Yeah. Well, UMAC definitely going to be on the list here. Like I said, have that queued up for the open. All right, let's keep running through this list. Then we can go ahead and take a look at the stocks. Sorry, I ran you over there. Did you have something else on this one?
Oh, not on this one. I was just seeing that it's looking like a real holiday season. I was just thinking, yeah, well, PCE just came out and it showed that the core PCE was like, what, 2.1 or something like that. I'd have to double check, but it seems like PCE was lower than expected. That might fuel, the speculation of another rate cut this coming December. This next FOMC meeting. So that also might, fuels the heat and the retail strength and lift this higher. So just something that could also happen with this good PCE report. Seems like inflation is still coming down according to that.
And remember, the Fed minutes revealed confidence. That was the word used in inflation reduction. And as I mentioned earlier at the top of the show, they have different or divergent views on the interest rate path ahead. We already know how to watch. So we're going to be hanging on all of those FOMC meetings and all of those interest rate decisions. So, okay, really good stuff there. Let's take a look at the rest of the list. QMCO, we already know about this one. This is part of the whole quantum theme. I don't think there was any new news here today. No, nothing new here. This thing was a massive halt fest yesterday with a gigantic opportunity for those of you that ended up hitting this one. QMCO, this thing is absolutely wild. QUBT, QBTS would be some of the other quantum names that come right off the top of my head. Did you have anything that you wanted to cover on this? I know this has kind of been a recent runner. We've talked about it.
No, I have, the quantum theme is still strong, so we're going to see a lot of those still continue to move.
Bingo. KXIN, this was on the movers list. This actually popped up as high as 340. It's really kind of bled back. It's had an attempt to take out the VWAP. Really hasn't been able to do that. Don't really have anything fresh here. Those SEC forms were from Saturday at the middle of November, so nothing really going on there. Have to mention this just because we loll about it all the time. Of course, Kodak is up here today. I know you've done a really great job reminding people that, hey, it might not make sense, but Kodak can move. Keep it on your watch list. Sure enough, Kodak here was about this closed at about 660 yesterday. We printed above 870 here today. So more than a $2 move overnight. I don't see anything here news-wise. Up 12.7%. You got anything? You got any other words of wisdom here for KODK?
Other than that had actual news on Monday, the only other reason why it's moving at all is because of Trump being in the news. Whenever there's a headline with his name in it, I think we can anticipate Kodak will get some movement.
Okay,
pretty much it.
There we go. We already kind of talked about MDAI. Rigetti also fits into that quantum theme. That's moving here. That just about does it. I'm going to go back over to the chart tool. We got 9 minutes until we open here. I would ask the group, folks, what stocks would you like to take a look at? Ones that we have not taken a look at yet. Yeah,
I saw an interesting question in the chat earlier, and it was regarding the drone plays because there is a ceasefire deal between Israel and Lebanon.
Yeah, so, I believe that ceasefire started at 4 a.m. local time this morning, right? Or yesterday.
It started. It started in the PMs for us, but it was early in the morning for them over there.
Today at 4 a.m. is when it started. That was the PM. Thank you for keeping me in mind.
I was watching a live stream that was covering that, and as soon as the clock struck whatever the time was for, I guess. Over there, you could hear Lebanon just erupt in gunfire. I think that was a celebratory gunfire, but it sounded like more gunfire than I had heard the entire time from that side.
I will say that just as kind of an aside here, at some point before I die, I would like to participate in celebratory gunfire. Of course, all of the gunfire that I've done has been very, very safe. I follow all of the different gun rules, and that leaves no room for celebratory firing into the air. But at some point before I expire on this earth, I would like to do that just to see how fun it is.
We got that covered over here.
I was going to say, I might need to make it down to Texas to be able to do something like that. We'll see, though. Okay, all jokes aside, folks. All jokes aside.
But the question was, does this hurt the drone plays? And I would say no, I don't think it will. And the reason for that is because this is not the only conflict that the world is experiencing right now that's using drones. Now remember that there is still there's no ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, which is the Gaza conflict. So that's still going on. We also have Ukraine and the Russia conflict, which is already, that's seeing a heavy use of drones. As a matter of fact, I think that's really what started kicking up the drone plays like AVAV. So no, I don't think that's going to hurt the drone plays in the long run. There's a lot of military investment from the U.S. going into drones, and I think that's just getting started. This is just one ceasefire in a sea of conflict. So the answer to that is pretty much no. Maybe we see some pullback, but I don't think it's going to ultimately hurt the drone play.
Okay. Okay, really good stuff there. Before we go to some more stocks that you folks want to take a look at, I did want to bring up ticker SYM. This is one that the group has actually been on for a little bit here. We've traded this a few times. There's been recent news on this that we've traded. Of course, they had earnings here November 18th. I did have some news here today. Symbiotic says it identified errors in the revenue recognition related to cost overrun. Delay in filing its annual report on Form 10K says it requires, quote, additional time to complete the assessment of the financial impacts or correcting an error related to the system revenue recognition. This is no good here.
This is the third company.
I know. And look, the market's telling you what a disaster this is. Down 32% here today. Again, I know that we were trading this one recently. At least some members in our group were trading this one recently. Hope everyone's okay in this. DA Davidson also downgraded it, lowered the price target here at 25. It's currently 25 and a half bucks. So get in there, 13. We'll see what happens with this today. But man, oh man, this not looking good.
Yeah, so you got SMCI, then you had Macy's, even though Macy's actually had a reason, but now you have Symbiotic. Did accountants forget how to do their job? I mean, what is the deal here that these financial reports?
I mean, you're an accountant. You had one job to do. Make sure the damn numbers are right. What the hell's going on? I'm with you.
And we'll get to Archer in just a second here, so don't worry about that. This is probably going to end up being another bounce play at some point, especially with the short interest already being as high as it is. We could identify some levels. Just looking at the chart here, I remember trading actually making a case for this one with the inverse head and shoulders. So that's not great that this is actually coming all the way back down to the neckline or beneath it. We might end up seeing. Wow, it's actually right at the neckline. So this may end up getting a support in this area, and if not right around here, maybe a little bit lower around 23 could be another support area in SYM.
I'm going to go ahead and draw that inverse head and shoulders on here since we are right at that neckline. Okay, we're really good stuff there. We'll see where this one goes here today.
They were going to mention on Archer.
Yeah, let's do Archer here. I did have the time. Look, folks, you folks that have been around here, you know how this works. There's just no reason to spam tickers. The chat is so good in this room that we really ought to just respect the chat and realize that there are tons of winners and good ideas thrown out there all the time. Spamming it just simply makes that harder. So I did time that user out. But don't spam tickers. We'll get to them. We'll see them. Add as much context as you can. Okay, so here is Archer. You can see we're still holding up here at 750. Looks like we had a little bit of a wild pre-market. Actually, it looks like we're new pre-market highs here at 750. What do you make of Archer?
We're still beneath the highs we made earlier this week. We went almost all the way up to $8. I think 790 was the high we put in. But since then, it's come back in a little bit, and it looks like we may have found a bit of a base. Looks like 715 has been a pretty strong level. We have had some price action beneath there, but it seems to be a more frequent support level than not. So 715, interesting level to watch for. We're also getting some a real push here in the pre-market. We're up to 752 now, breaking over the pre-market high that we put in earlier this morning, which was, gosh, what was this? 749. So just now getting over that and moving higher. I don't know where this is going to end up today. But if you want to take a look at what we got yesterday in this, 760 seemed to be where it ran into a lot of sellers.
Okay, good stuff there on Archer. We'll absolutely be taking a look at this one here. The real level that I want to see on Archer here, 789. If we can break above that, we could have some fireworks here. Yeah.
Jay Wrights had also mentioned that he saw a lot of, I think it said call buying. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, but you mentioned Joby. Had a lot of call buying, I think.
Yeah, and, I think I did see that here earlier from Jay. Let me see if I can find the comment.
So also keep that one on your radar. I personally like Archer better, but I think both of these are going to do just fine in the air mobility space. One level to watch for 815, both yesterday and in pre-market, that has been the high, or right around there has been the high. So that's the level to take out, you know, in this morning here, right as we open, which is going to be in about 30 seconds. We're in the process of holding VWAP right now on Joby. So, oh, we just lost it. So we might get some trade here in this one too, but I would be watching that 815 level.
Okay, really good shout there on the call buying too. I actually did not notice that here on Joby, but I don't see everything, so really good stuff there.
Oh, it was Archer call buying.
It was Archer. Okay. Now that we have seen,
yes.
that we actually have seen, and we've actually seen that recently. But you know what, Jay? Those are sympathies, and it might be worth watching both of them. So I think actually your initial comment still holding water there. Okay, we're about to open, aren't we? There it is. There is the bell. We are open. I'm gonna
All right.
I mean, it looks like UMAC here. That first move that is above 10. I'm gonna wait for UMAC to settle down after this huge move. Maybe I missed this. Looking like it's going for the highs in the pre-market. Oh, let me see. Let me put it on screen here.
It's quite spready.
Indeed. Indeed. I'm gonna kind of wait that out.
All right. So Joby back up over 8 and VWAP. There goes Archer. That one's pushing up. 758 is the new high intraday. So we're almost to that 762 level. Let me see what else is moving here. Looks like TRNR is trying to decide which way to go. It's beneath VWAP. VWAP is, I have at 441.
Same. HSAI is another one of those names with AI in there.
Yep, and our chat mentioned that one. Thank you for that.
UMAC still trying to get above those pre-market highs here.
Yeah, and it just broke through 11, and there's 1110 is the high print in UMAC.
VSIG found resistance right at the VWAP as it tested it right out of the open.
Yeah, VSIG's MACD on the 5-minute doesn't look great. I expect this one to come back in. Maybe it gets support around 2, but I'm not sure exactly where the support's going to be.
Oops. Yep, there we go. IDAI here. This actually just lost its VWAP here, 66 cents, moving to the downside.
HSAI, that one trying to get up to 8. 8 is the pre-market high in this one, so you might want to mark that level off. It could be a breakout spot if we have enough volume.
Yep. Give me 1 sec, 13. I'll BRB.
Sure. So IDAI losing VWAP. Let's see if it can get some support around 60 cents. That's about where the 65 EMA is. Okay, what else do we have here? CYCN. This one isn't moving very quickly. It had a quick, looks like it had a sizable volume drop. And now it's just doing nothing. So I have to wait for that one. VSIG, trying to recapture VWAP. So maybe it is getting some strength here. MACD was looking like this was going to roll over. But it needs to close above VWAP, and it might do that. So let's see if we get that in VSIG. TRNR getting some support from the 65 EMA. UMAC now turning around and losing VWAP. This might actually halt to the downside. UMAC. And it's halted. Archer, look at this thing go. 792 in Archer. I think when Ryan gets back, he'll be pleasantly pleased to hear about his target. Yes, UMAC is halted. And Archer going for, okay, well, your Archer target was just obliterated.
Mine?
Yours.
I better put that on screen. Oh my gosh. Higher we go. Look at that call buying.
Yep.
Driving it. And UMAC, is this halted to the downside? No, this pulled back. Yeah. UMAC halted to the downside, 942.
Okay, so no, it's not. Welcome to new, what is this? Almost 3-year highs in Archer. Welcome, everybody.
Good to be here.
Yeah.
I sold 2 points ago.
You ended positive, right?
Yeah, I sure did. No, it's okay. Well, look here, and here's the thing. The reason that I'm making a joke right now. The reason I'm not actually pissed about that is because I still think we have some time in this EV toll theme. And I'm not. No need to rush. I was bag holding for a while. Ended up making money on it.
Yes, I'd show UMAC is halted to the downside. And if Archer continues to move up, I think because this was a SPAC, we might end up seeing a lot of big resistance at 10. Yeah, it's not overextended whatsoever. Let's just have it continue to rip.
/S, right? Sarcasm detected. AMBA, this Ambarella, we took a look at this in the happy hour show yesterday. This thing had a ridiculous move, printed up in the A's. This was like plus 20 plus percent, 25 plus percent, almost 30%. Back here, let me see. Yeah, almost 30%, 28.5% in the after hours, come way in since then. That's good to see. However, if this reclaims the VWAP, you might actually have a trade on that one. TRNR, lower, kind of disappointing here today.
So there is a little bit of consolidation from October 2021, where the Archer's current price is at. That consolidation begins at 775 and goes up to about 825. So that 50-cent range of consolidation could end up being a little bit of a resistance area in Archer. But if we break through that, we're probably going to see a lot less resistance until we get to 865.
Real quick here, Jay is mentioning, there goes Dave again. Look, this is a textbook floating island that I did not take. Damn it. But look how good this was. Impulse move, pull back, hold the bottom of the candle, and then we go north, break the top of that candle. Giddy up.
You're allowed to be upset about that one when you talked all about this floating island. So there it is. It's going to, you didn't take it.
Nope.
You could be upset about that one.
Nope. You can't take them all. VSIG looking like it's trying to break the top end of the pre-market range off there on VSIG.
Yeah, that was looking like it was
might have a trade there.
But oh man, look at these upper
Pull
shadows.
Back to VWAP. Yep.
Look at all the wicks that as soon as it gets up to about what 280-ish, like about 280, there seems to be a lot of selling. Maybe even lower than that, about 275, 280. There's a lot of sellers in that area because look at all these wicks. I mean, I'm looking at a 5-minute chart, and you can just see that level. It's a hard level for this to get over. So we start closing over that range at 275, 280. Then I think we might be able to take out that 309 pre-market high.
Yeah, and I'm looking here at the level 2. I really don't see a whole lot of size at that 280. Maybe some of those numbers are being hidden. There's a little bit there, but it's not crazy. There's actually some here at 275, which we just deleted.
Yeah, there could be some trailing orders that we just don't see.
Yeah. Let me get another one of those icebergs set up there. But VSIG, interesting. Looking like this is trying to go here.
Thank you for that mention.
Yeah, that was a good one. Mm-hmm. Really good one. I'm actually going to try some VSIG there. Infobird, you said IFBD?
Yeah, that thing is just absolutely just cratering.
So the bird's not flying, huh?
No, not yet. Remember, I said this one had the.
There goes VSIG, by the way, above that level. That scalp perfect. Done. I just took it off the screen and then we popped above it. See if we go for 3 next here. No position now. Just wanted to get some green on the screen to start there.
Yeah. So with IFBD, I was saying that this one still might come in some more, but most of the selling may have already finished. This is about the area where it should start to find a bottom. So once it starts to look like the IFBD is turning around, there might be a trade set up here for that. So,
Nick, you must have just joined at like just the wrong time. Like your timing, I think, was really unfortunate. UMAC is open. Let me put that on screen here. We were just talking about Archer and Joby and how they're related and how there was option flow in Archer. We actually saw Archer take off here today. No pun intended. Looks like we're still flirting with that 8 level here. I wonder if Joby actually followed this move. Sure did. These charts look very, very similar. Again, one of the things that we've been tracking here has been the unusual option activity. Shout out to Jay Rice for mentioning this from yesterday. I haven't seen any here today, but I'll go ahead and look here in a little bit. Our hot take here, eVTOL is hot and we're going higher.
Yep. And lower rates are helping a lot of the small caps. So with this PCE report, looks like there may be an expectation of another rate cut in December, since it looks like they're defeating inflation. UMAC is open. Thank you for that mention. Crimp Biscuit, this is trying to get back above VWAP. Also, there was another stock I was looking at. You guys had mentioned, oh yes, RCAT, that is also having a good morning. got as high as 930. Two big green candles so far in the regular session for RCAT. Also VC, that one was trying to move up as well. It had a pop over VWAP just a moment ago to 210. Came right back in, now back underneath VWAP again. Needs to start trading over VWAP some more and holding above that so that we can get some more upside. Otherwise, might go down.
Okay, really quickly, just right after you guys were talking about that, I checked here. The only Archer unusual option sweep that I've seen here today looks to be a closing order, right? This was the 5 strike, 177 contracts. It was an aggressive order, so it looked like someone was trying to get out of that based on the strike there. Looks like that was probably a closing trade. No new opening trades yet here, at least not that I see.
VSIG, hey, Daniel, I think it certainly is. VSIG popped over that pre-market high, came back in. Lots of wicks in this thing. The sellers really come in hard as soon as this thing has a big move up. So just you know
what though? I think what we're seeing here, 13, and then let me go back to the 5 because there were some. Yeah, I think one of the things we're seeing here is that former resistance now support. Because here we go bouncing. We just retook 3. Let's see if we get above the intraday high here. I've got that at 316.
Let me see if I can find some levels here for this one. Looks like
WAI. Sorry to interrupt. WAI top king win being mentioned here by Wiz. This popping here, is this the AI theme or is this just some?
That looks like a China pump.
Yeah.
VSIG.
I wouldn't trust this one, but this is moving. Sorry, go ahead. VSIG.
So I have 651 as a potential crazy number move on VSIG. Let me see if I find something closer. Nope, that's not closer. That's about as close as I got. Yeah, so 650, 651. If the volume continues and we start ripping wildly with VSIG, that's where it could end up going.
Out VSIG 313, Jane Smith. Well, you know what that means? That means you're gonna get some sound effects here. Nice little ring into the register there.
Look at thinking about its research here. This is great because that could also help lift RCAT a little bit more.
Oh, yo, thinking about I had no idea. See, this is what I mean. I was just talking about the chat being valuable earlier. Thank you, thinking about it, for not even waiting 10 minutes to prove that to be correct.
He said, "Hold my coffee," and showed up.
All right, that is sweet.
All right, InfoBird. Finally looking like it's trying to turn around here. I'm not saying that it definitely is, but it put in a bit of a bottoming candle. Finally got a green one on the screen here. Volume still isn't great. We need to see more expansion of this volume in order to go back up higher, but it's currently above VWAP at the moment. Maybe 240 at this point, but I don't know how high it's going to go without more expanding volume. So that's what we need to get out of IFBD for it to go up further.
Sava popping here off the bottom right at $4. I'm going to pass on Sava, but I know that's been watched recently. QMCO, this wild one that we've watched quite a bit here. This actually looking like it's trying to retake VWAP.
Archer's got more highs now. That was a nice quick little bullpen it put in on smaller time frames. And now we're at a new high of 813. We might even go higher.
Jay Harris, you're asking for help with Apple. What kind of help do you need here? Real quick reminder here for a news story from the top of the show here on Apple. Apple foreign smartphone sales in China dropped 44.25% year over year in October per the data. You saw Apple really weak here in the pre-market. We popped right out of the pre-market, but now it looks like we might retest those lows. That's really the only thing I got going on here. Let me know what else you need help with here. Not sure what that means.
Great mention on Bloom Energy, Robert. This thing, ever since that news of the fuel cells being ordered for the data center, ever since that news came out, this thing has been steadily moving up, and we're getting close to 30. What a great vehicle for trading and investing this has been lately.
Bloom Energy also seeing some calls here while we're talking about it. These 37 calls that expire at the end of January, or excuse me, the monthly January contract for early 2025. Have the other one, another call sweep here. This looks like the 26 call. This might have been a closing order here. So the Bloom options getting hit here. Also seeing some more Archer calls come across now. These are the 6 calls. Again, I think that this was probably a closing transaction here. Archer did take the next leg up here in the pre-market.
Really quick, I just noticed something looking at a daily chart for Dave. This may break out of $95 today, and I don't know what kind of fireworks we'll see, but this thing has got a great setup to take out 95. It looks like the high we put in on the 13th of November was 94.96. So I'm just going to say $95. We break out of that. This thing could have some legs.
Yeah, and this is you're starting to see the power of the floating island trade and why this is such a powerful swing, because 13, you're exactly right. We popped the top off that. This thing might run. Now, for this trade, I would have already paid myself, to book some of those gains, but maybe you can keep a trailer on here in case we get a run through there. Real quickly, stay focused. Will NVIDIA hold the God, excuse me, I'm sorry. Will NVIDIA hold the 50-day moving average on the daily chart? Well, we've actually already lost it here today. Stay focused. So as far as this goes, this is actually going to need to reclaim this here today. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to make a call right now. No, I don't think it does. I don't think it does. Even on days where the market has been strong, NVIDIA has kind of been one of the laggards here. And honestly, I think the market has been better since NVIDIA has really started to come in these last few sessions. I'd like this to really kind of come in towards the trend line here. Yeah. Let's call it 130 to the downside.
Yeah, that trend line I think is going to give you a better shot of a bounce, because so far that trend line has been where the bounces are. Granted that we drew it using the lows from earlier this year in August and September, but it seems to really have a good chance of, and I think it may even be lower than that, than 130. Might like be 128 and change. But to your point, I think that trend line is going to give us a little bit of a bounce. There should be some intermediate support there.
So that's what I'd like to see here, especially given what we've seen with the market when that really started to trade down. BLDE getting mentioned here. This is another eVTOL related to Archer and Joby. This thing, just a nice little ramp here on some pretty decent volume, looking pretty good here.
Yep. BLDE, JOBYACHR, and if you want one more, you can do EH. That's a China.
EHang. Good old EHang. Big of Bees, good morning. It's great to see you. Happy early Thanksgiving to you and your family. Good morning, team. Looking at the unusual options, I saw W-Day puts come in, looking like lots of software had very soft earnings. The DEC monthly 220 put is looking nice on Workday. Okay. We actually did cover Workday earnings here earlier today. Let's see where we're at here on Workday, down 10%. Okay, so one of the things that I had said is I'd be interested to see if we recapture that 200-day. That's pretty much butting up with the 50-day here. We have not done that yet. Let's look inside and see what's going on here with Workday. Workday's trying to bounce. Yeah. Can't really get over it. I wonder if we should call Lady Gaga, ask her about the rock stars and all the stupid commercials, Billy Idol in the Workday commercial. They're really annoying commercials. They're annoying. I'm not going to call any of those people. They're annoying commercials. I don't. That has nothing to do with the trade. I'm just kind of annoyed. I saw it this morning. 220 put. Yeah, I'm sorry. It is a tangent there, but I mean, look. He takes the air guitar away from the guy. It's like, dude, get a hold of yourself. Anyway, I'm digressing. We don't need to do that. Ryan, you're such see the producer knows exactly what I'm talking about. And if you take my air guitar, I got another. Okay. All jokes aside here. Big Bees, looks like you're swinging Workday to the downside and you're looking at the 220 put. Actually like that. The 220 put, that's 255. So it's a little bit spread there. There's some decent open interest in there. There's some volume in there today too. Interesting. 220 put on Workday. Do I short it because I hate the commercial? Guitars. What's that?
Don't get Fairchild started on guitars. And yes, okay. Christopher Anthony, Rocket Lab is higher, as is a lot of the space plays. That space theme's still doing pretty well.
So real quickly here, I actually saw it. I didn't read it, so I don't know a lot about it. I'm just kind of reiterating the headline, full disclosure, but I did see that there was a bust recently on the LA ports where they picked up a whole bunch of counterfeit Gibson electric guitars. So maybe that's what Fairchild is referring to. Don't even get started on people copying Gibsons, which are some of the best guitars available.
I can ask my Port of Los Angeles channels if if they want to tell me anything about that. They might know more. I don't know if that's interesting to you or not, but
I'm interested just for the. I don't know that I would trade or do anything off that, but I'm interested in what happens. Sure. By the way, UMAC here, big pop into a halt.
Oh, nice. Also, it looks like it's trying to get over 315 again, but again, those wicks, I don't like the way they look. They might indicate that we're going lower. Archer's 837 new intraday high. Bloom Energy, this thing is still ripping. 851. I'm sorry, 2851 is the new intraday high on that one. Looks like InfoBird is trying to turn around. No confirmation yet that that's actually what we're getting here. It still looks like it could go lower.
TRNR trying to curl, and it cannot. Yams, this was mentioned here by Jay earlier. Yams has been on an absolute rip earlier. Look at this move on Yams. The next move to me sure seems like this needs to come in, but man, oh man, that you're jumping in front of a freight train on that one.
SOS getting mentioned. Didn't this move or get on the market during the crypto days, and isn't it tied to crypto in some way?
I don't know if it's actually tied to crypto, but yes, this was a previous crypto stock. SOS Ltd shares are trading higher after the company announced that its board of directors approved a $50 million investment to purchase Bitcoin.
Okay, so there's my question right there. But yeah, I remember this. I remember seeing this one when it was first on the market back during the pandemic, and I remember seeing this was part of the crypto trade, cryptocurrency mining. Okay, so that's one of their segments that they do. Okay. SMCI pushing. Oh,
I can bring that up here real quick. I'm still looking for something here on the Twitter streets, but let me adjust the. Oh my God, SMCI is pushing here.
So it looks like we got some resistance at that or near that $40 handle, and I'll say it one more time: 40 to 50 is that consolidation there that I'm thinking we might see a lot of resistance in. So if we do break over 40 and get into that channel, I don't know how high we'll go. All right.
Yeah, sorry, I'm still searching for something here. It'll just be a sec.
And there's the poll on VCIG that went beneath VWAP, but is trying to recover.
I think you got a shout out for that call, right? Good call on VSIG, right? Brandon, you referring to those wicks being tricks up there, I think. Is UMAC open? Who's shouting?
No.
It's not open.
No, it's
Tony. Tony, getting me all hot and bothered there.
Tony, are you like on the current time? Because I'm just concerned that you might be watching the stream a little bit.
Oh, the stream might be a little bit delayed. Yeah, make sure you hit live and live that up there.
Liven that up.
Liven that up. Yeah, I'm struggling here today. Look, I'm already on Thanksgiving mode. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not even going to apologize.
I'm already on feast mode, buddy.
Feast mode? Oh yeah, I love that shirt. Love that shirt.
Thinking brings up a good point about Thanksgiving discussions regarding stocks, crypto giving the Black Friday boost. And Robert mentioning DDD ripping. Also BRKB.
Now, DDD, you said, right? That's 3D Systems. So they reported earnings last night. That's interesting that you mentioned that this is ripping. This actually sold off here and has now gone green. So red to green move here, post earnings, DDD.
And then Hustle and Bustle was asking about Berkshire's B shares. Let's take a look. What is the deal with that today? Okay, so we had a breakout over September 4th highs. What's the news? They converted some A-class shares into B-class at zero cost and donated them to charities. That's the most recent news that I have here. I think this. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the movement is. I mean, maybe the PCE report is good for this stock in some capacity. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the real reason for this movement is. The only thing I see recently was that share conversion. But if it's the market's ripping, this is going to rip with it. And they also have a large cash position. I couldn't tell you exactly why Berkshire is making this move. The only technical move I see is that it broke out over that September 4th high.
UMAC is open here, by the way, now. Looks like this is trying to go higher here on UMAC.
And it just took out 110. It's probably going to halt again.
Okay.
And there it is.
11:45. Yep, there we go. Bang. We shall see on UMAC.
Should we look for some crazy upside levels in UMAC? What do you think?
Mean, you might as well have them prepared. I can plop them on the chart. That's no problem.
It's gonna be fib levels because I forgot this is
blue sky breakout.
Yeah. So you have to break out the fibs for this.
PDYN. This is one of the movers from yesterday on the downside. Xena. This is 2 days now of downside from that initial move. I wanted to check in back in on SYM. That thing's getting shellacked. Did we continue? Yeah, another leg lower here. SYM.
Let's see. Our Archer. Okay, so Archer isn't coming back in as much as Joby is. Archer holding VWAP. Joby losing it but trying to reclaim it. This could be a temporary pullback in both of these names. So until we start losing, more of this upside move they had and giving it more of it back, they might be able to bounce and go higher. So just be patient with these two for now.
Okie dokie.
It looks like VSIG still trying to go higher. Those wicks did indicate that it was going to go lower. It did lose VWAP. Currently trying to reclaim it right now, though.
I actually have it reclaiming VWAP already. I've got VWAP at 280.
I have it at 283. So yes, we reclaimed for both of us. So it's a little bit more expansion in volume. It can take out that 316 high.
RCAT going higher here.
IFBD. It was so the bottom that I was mentioning.
There we go.
Now this may come right back up into the this could be the resistance area that it cannot get through, but let's see what happens here. There's a lot of supply to chew through to get back up, especially up in the 270 area. I see a really large amount of orders in 270 on IFBD.
Okay,
but so far it's a good turnaround. So let's see what we get out of this.
QUBT quantum name moving here. QMCO. This actually moving to the downside. So we're starting to get some divergence there in some of those quantum names. What's Archer doing? Archer right back up here towards the highs. Watch for maybe some new highs there on Archer.
There we go. Yep, just needed to cool off, and now we're bouncing, trying to take out the highs. So 837 is the high, intraday high for Archer. Trying to go higher than that. Needs more volume though. Needs a little bit more volume. All right, so aside from those, what else is doing well? Looks like VC went back up to 210 again and got rejected. Now it's losing VWAP. Here's one thing to watch for with VC. If this does, gets some support and recaptures VWAP and tries 210 again, it's going to have to break out that time, because if it doesn't, it'll be a triple top, and that will likely indicate much further downside ahead. So that's something to watch for with VC. Volume's not looking great. Not sure if it'll have enough volume to push through that 210 like I think it needs to. So just something to watch for. If we do get another revisit up to 210, it really needs to take out that level. Okay. VSIG. Here we go, trying to push up through those that wick area. 316 is the intraday high, and was just slightly higher than the pre-market. So let's see if we get this push through at 316. It just brought a bid at 3 to help lift it higher. Let's see what happens. There's another one. They're trying to push.
Ben asking dumb question. No dumb questions here in this community, Ben. Ask away. We're happy to help. Dumb question. How do you calculate VWAP? I think that's what you meant to put here. You have VUAP, but I think you meant VWAP. Still learning over here. So real quickly, I don't necessarily know that you actually need to bust out the abacus or the slide rule and do calculations yourself. You can simply just add it as an indicator. It will be in your indicator list. It'll either be abbreviated as VWAP, or it will be volume weighted average price, which is what VWAP stands for. The calculation, the formula for VWAP here, it's the cumulative typical price times the volume divided by the cumulative volume. If you wanted that technical thing, I don't really think that you need to know that, though. You just need to use the indicator itself. Intraday, what this does is this provides a very clear support and resistance line.
Know what it is, know what it does, and know how trading around it works.
Yeah, absolutely. UMAC is open.
Yeah,
so it looks like this is dropping here.
Lots of big names trade around VWAP to hide the size of the shares.
Absolutely.
All right, IFBD. This thing is looking like it's really having a good time turning around here. Again, I do not know how high this is going to go. It's got a lot of supply to chew through to go higher. Looks like UMAC is going to just now halt to the downside.
This might be halted to the downside here.
And there it is.
There it is. Okay, so we'll see it. Now, UMAC here, the one thing to, I tell you what, I'd like for this not to halt as much. I'd feel better about trading it if it wasn't just halting like crazy. But look what happened the last time we came back down to this area. We actually pierced the VWAP and then bounced hard. Maybe we get that again. You got it, Ben.
Nick, I don't think the bad news of SMCI is flushed. Oh, here we go with BSIG. That just popped up to 353. I don't think the bad news is flushed out because they still haven't released those earnings reports. It's still got bad news. They've been trying to patch it and band-aid it with the recompliance plan.
Yeah, let me know what the independent auditors say. That's when we know that the bad news has been out. Remember, one of them walked off the job. Ernst & Young walked off the job.
That's right.
So let's see what BDO says when they actually do that investigation.
Yeah. So, but I think to your point, though, the market does have a very short memory. So we are probably going to see a lot of trading as if that's already old news and it's not happening anymore. But it still is.
Your next point here, I wonder how long it takes for all these institutions buying Bitcoin to make the price stop being volatile. It's still moving $10,000 a day. When does that stop? No idea. I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. First of all, you probably have to wait for all the Bitcoin to be mined. That's going to be what, hundreds of years before that's possible?
It won't be in our lifetime when the last one gets mined, but then you also have the halvings, which are going to make mining even less profitable.
Yep.
So there's a lot of things about Bitcoin that could still make it move, even if all the institutions finish their buying.
So I wouldn't be waiting for that personally. And actually, as a Bitcoin holder, I certainly don't want that. I'd like it to move $10,000 a day to the upside every day, frankly. That'd be awesome. Okay. VSIG, this is massive winner. Yeah. Massive winner here for anyone that was trading VSIG coming back up to the highs.
Marcus Never asking that wick to 353 is bad, right? On VSIG. I mean, that was a huge pop over that resistance area. I don't think it was bad. It could. I mean, let's see what happens when we start getting the candle at close. And there's a lot of price action still happening right now. Let's see what it closes like, and then we can determine if it's bad or good. But right now, that's a very nice breakout.
There was a 309 hidden seller there that we talked about on VSIG that got obliterated. That's one of the reasons that this thing went higher here. Tramp stamp coming all the way back in, almost all the way back in from the pre-market move. TRNR been a super disappointment today.
Nicholas, it's not a nefarious money management problem that we know of yet. I mean, if Ernst & Young was turned, they quit because they were getting stonewalled, then I think it kind of leans into that territory of nefarious money management. And this is 2 quarters now that they have not reported, and they've already been through 2 auditors.
Yeah, I'm on your side with this, but just I'm going to play devil's advocate for Nick's benefit here. And I will say that this is one of the things that kind of makes a market, right? You want to buy it. You want to buy it when the news is bad, because to Nick's point, if there is actually nothing bad going on and it was just some things that they needed to clean up, you could make the case that this stock could go a lot higher once that's out of the way, and you might not have an opportunity to buy it down here. With all that being said, for me as a trader, I don't need to have my capital tied up in stuff where I don't know about the accounting.
Oh yeah, and I'm trade SMCI however you want to trade it. Don't only stop you doing that. I'm personally not trading SMCI. I don't like the company, but I think that if we're going to have that conversation about the bad news being done, I don't think that that's necessarily the case. I think the bad news is just dormant for the time being.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've done really well in SMCI too. A lot of folks here have.
I mean, it's had just gigantic moves. So you time one of those moves correctly, you could really kind of make up for several poor trades, right? Just with the huge volatility that it's had. IREN here. Someone mentioned this earlier. I don't think I commented on it. Nice little bounce off the VWAP.
VC looks like it's trying to make that move back up to 210 again. Now this next visit has to break through, or we're probably going to fall out of VWAP here again. UMAC, that's still halted.
Yeah.
Yep. Looks like Infobird is trying to hold this area and then make another move up. So that might be something that Infobird tries to do here. Need to see some better volume in this. VCIG. So we have that
UMAC candle open, by the way.
Oh, perfect.
And lower we go. So here we are. We're at the VWAP. It's got to bounce here, or this is effed, folks.
That's a technical assessment, by the way.
Technical, very, very technical.
So it looks like it is getting some support here. Not liking the way the MACD looks. Just need to see what happens, I would say, with UMAC. But VCIG, that upper shadow on the last 5-minute candle that it had, the one that took us to 355, it doesn't look great, but it's we're still getting some upside movement, and it didn't break down. Like if it was a candle that popped up and then it lost VWAP, that'd be awful. But this is okay for the time being. It's just not great. I don't know if we're going to get if we will go higher than 355 from here, but we still can, I think.
UMAC, we will see here. It's trying. It doesn't know which direction it wants to go yet. 980 actually might be a spot for it to get over, and then obviously 10. Let me actually bring this up in a broker and see if I can monitor the level 2 for a little bit here. Okay, so I actually see, some size was just brought in there at 965. Yeah, selling might not be done in this one, folks. Just be careful on this one. I actually just lost the VWAP there. If this accelerates, I think we probably need to wait for this to kind of firm up here. This accelerates to the downside.
Nicholas, 100%. You're welcome. I'm glad that this is all great info for you. Really, really good. Looks like Dave is trying to make its way. Oh, it just had a little bit of a pop. Looks like Dave is trying to make its way.
We'll check back in on UMAC here. Just be advised, this is at the VWAP, so there could be a move in either direction coming from this area. VC got the highs. You were saying what? VC? What was this? Dave. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Dave. This one looks like it's trying to make its move back up to go and mingle with that 95 breakout level that we were identifying earlier. Need more volume. Need to see a lot more volume in this one. And it has also got bit of a spread here. It looks like about somewhere between 25. I'm sorry, no, actually larger than that. About 15 to 30 cent spreads. But yeah, that need to see more volume in Dave, and then we can have that break over 95. That'd be cool.
Jay mentioning ticker AUR here, seeing some call buying here. I didn't see this one, but good stuff here, Jay. Driverless semis, Chaikin Kathy Wood name, ticker AUR, Aurora Innovation. It's actually having a pretty decent day, and 7 actually looks to be a fairly important level. So we'll see there, ticker AUR. AUR, good stuff, Jay. ACHR, more blue skies, you're saying? Uh-oh.
Yep. Well, more like 3-year highs, but yeah, it's really moving. It just put in
Archer. This has been real good. This has been real good. Archer.
And it wasn't too long ago that this thing was trading under 3.
Yep.
Just on September 26th, it hit a low of 282.
Okay. So look at this. UMAC back above 10. See if this gets rolling here. Next spot on the upside here. I gotta say 1050 probably on UMAC.
Joby also new highs, 862. UMAC trying to turn around. Nice. And watching UMAC, see if it can try and recapture that VWAP. MACD is not looking great. Looks like it wants to roll over. So we get some more buying volume to step in here and take us back over VWAP and push us up. I think this might be finished here. Berkshire B shares, that is now over 490.
I was just going to say here with UMAC, the price action off the VWAP is extremely encouraging, but you hit it right on the head there. It's really the buying volume that we want to see step in here, and maybe this thing can go higher. It's trying. To its credit, it's trying right here. Buzz Lightyear. Good morning, Buzz. To infinity and beyond, of course. Apple flirting with red green. Indeed it is. So it looks like it's already kind of deleting some of that news about poor iPhone sales in China. Apple trying to go green here. Good stuff.
Looks like the eVTOL names might start rolling over here. MACD is indicating that these may end up going lower.
UMAC, folks, that was flirting with that 1050. It just gave that level to you. We're still right there. Come on, microphone. Let's go. 1050 there on UMAC. Let's see if this pushes higher. This thing is fairly volatile. This is a volatile puppy. Had to.
So Apple, looking at the daily chart, we're getting close to, what is this, an all-time high breakout?
Here, I'll get the bigger daily chart here so we can take a look at that.
Looks like that's where we're headed. I mean, this is trading up into an ascending triangle. That would mean that a potential breakout spot could be, I would say 237. That looks pretty good. As a matter of fact, that looks like we're exactly at my breakout.
Yeah, 237. I have it marked off as 233, but you're right, 237.
Yeah, I have 233 as well because that was a level
previous breakout level,
on the weekly.
Yep.
So we might be making new all-time highs in Apple maybe next week, if not today.
Yeah, I kind of threw cold water on this morning. This was one of the stories that I covered right out of the open. This was the fourth story that I covered regarding the foreign smartphone sales. Like I said, I've seen this song and dance before, many times before, and until something is really different there, I don't know. What was that? Which one?
Yeah, look at it. There you go.
Here we go, dude. Look at this UMAC.
Just be careful. It's got to break over 11, otherwise it's coming back in.
So this also, we were talking about the VWAP earlier here. This is one of the reasons we were talking about the calculation for it. This is one of the reasons that we use it. It really shows its importance almost every day especially with some of these mover stocks that we have a tough time making sense of. UMAC here, this is going.
Yeah. It's got to break over 11. It has to. Otherwise, it's going to, I think it'll have a bit of a bearish pattern, maybe a head and shoulders, but it's got to break over 11. Two other things to watch for. VC, this is still trying to make its way up to 210. Has to break out of there, otherwise it will be a triple top intraday. Also, Dave still pushing up slowly, looking for a breakout over 95. That'll be a big break with the daily pattern. Archer and Joby, these are looking like they're starting to roll over. Currently getting support from VWAP. At least Archer is. I don't have Joby getting support. It's actually losing VWAP. But this is something to watch for with Joby and Archer. If you're in these, maybe you've already got your gains and you're good. Maybe consider easing out.
I've got VWAP on Archer at 806, and it looks like it's going to try and test that. That would actually line up really, really well with one of the previous areas that it found support at.
VSIG getting hit. So yes, those who was asking about that, but yes, the upper shadow on that 355 high, that was not looking great. The next candle was giving us some hope, but that resulted with another wick on the top there. Now we're getting some selling. There's a seller that's got a whole bunch of orders that he's trying to use to push down the price. Currently getting support from VWAP, though. Not sure if this is finished yet or not.
Okay. Real good stuff there.
TRNR is trying to get through the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. I don't know that it will, but if we do push through that, it's got to deal with the consolidation in the pre-market around 360 to 390.
Okay, good stuff. BTCS getting a mention here by Hector. This actually at the highs here. We've taken a look at some of these names before. Amanda, hello. Happy Thanksgiving. This is where have you been? This has been one of the best weeks all year. One of my favorite weeks. You haven't been around. Oh, by the way, Amanda, you got a shout out from Anne Marie on a sales presentation last night. So really good stuff. Keep up the good work.
Getting asked about Redfin. Or at least I think that's
RDFN.
Yeah, Rain Rays. He said RDFIN. I'm pretty sure he means Redfin.
Yeah, this kind of fell off here too.
Yeah. Well, I had a really bearish looking pattern there from basically the entirety of the pandemic. Just put in a gigantic, what you could consider a giant head and shoulders, and now we're back down to about where the pandemic bottomed. So I think this is just a channel we need to break out of, and there's a lot of room to move up before we break out of that channel. I think the channel top is around 18. We have the 200-day SMA that's at 21.23. If we do break out of the sideways channel, that's going to be another resistance area.
Okay.
I don't know what's going to get this to move out of this consolidation. We would have to. I think we would have to start seeing some better home sales numbers. But I think the fact that rates are still poised to go lower could help lift this up some more.
Sam asking, what is going on with NVIDIA? Oh my God, the world is healing. More specifically, the market is healing. NVIDIA has been just a complete rager. Literally everyone owns it. Everyone was buying it hand over fist, just higher and higher and higher and higher and higher we go in NVIDIA. And now reality is starting to set in a little bit. Taking a look at the actual chart here, this is excellent for us. This is excellent. The only reason I can think that this is not excellent for you is that if you bought NVIDIA up here at the top. Otherwise, this is great because there's been so much concentration in this name that we would really love to see that concentration broaden out. And we're already seeing that. Remember, we talked to David Prince on yesterday. He said that how great that was. Stay Focused asked me if we thought this was going to stay at the 50-day. I said, no, I would like to see this come in towards the trend line. Look at the movement that we're getting. Really, really good stuff here on NVIDIA. Looks like it's just regression back to the mean, I would say.
Yeah,
I don't think there's anything wrong with the company, just to be clear.
Yeah, Amanda's got I think the greatest point here. If you think about supply and demand, everybody who wants NVIDIA already owns it. There's literally so few buyers for NVIDIA that you just really can't see it getting these big moves that it had earlier this year anymore. I think you're going to end up seeing a lot more selling like we've had this pretty much this whole week, starting last week. Yeah.
Stay Focused asking, will it hold 132? My guess would be 130.
I'd like to see it lose 130 and go down to about 128.50.
Yeah, so I would say if I have to answer this, if you're giving me a yes, no, Stay Focused, and I can't weasel my way out of this one, I would say no, it will not hold 132, and it would be more likely to find support at 130. We'll see if I'm right about that.
Watch for volume expansion in InfoBird. It has got a setup here trying to take out 250, looks like 255-ish. Get back over the 200 EMA and 65 EMA on the 5-minute. Watch for expanding volume on that one. TRNR in the process of trying to take out that 65 EMA that I had mentioned earlier. This could end up moving back up to VWAP, but they do have a large amount of sell orders in the way at 374. That's where that consolidation and pre-market is. So keeping that in mind. And then finally, Dave, that had a pop up to the intraday high, just slightly higher than the intraday high, came back in. Don't think this is done. We might get another test of that 95 area.
On Dave?
Yeah, because it had a quick pop just recently. But the volume needs to, be more sustainable than this. BSIG still trying to hold VWAP. This one, I'm not sure about. What else are we seeing out here?
Big B is mentioning Tesla here as that's trading lower here. Tesla down about 1%. This actually fell off. This was a nice move lower here, Big B's. That Tesla is having a nice slide day. Scalp the day trade, put on it, done for the day. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, man, to you and your fam. Thanks for all of the support and all of the good, juicy calls you give out here daily. I don't know why.
Happy Thanksgiving, Big B's. Well done on your scalp. Tesla, that doesn't look too good. Looks like it might end up coming down and finding support around 315.
Seeing a number of pops and drops here.
Well, nobody wants to hold into the weekend.
Yeah,
at least that's what I'm thinking. And on that note, let's talk real quick about what to watch for, since we are going into not just the holiday weekend, but the weekend that's going to see the real big start to the holiday shopping season. Right after people are done eating, there are going to be some folks that just go right out and start shopping. That's going to continue on Friday and through the weekend and on to the Cyber Monday.
Full disclosure, I spend a lot of time on the Amazon app on Thanksgiving. I mean, you're in pajamas, you're on the couch, you got the wine open, you're eating. I just browse deals all day on Amazon. Got to make sure my phone's charged for that one.
Yeah, so we're going to start to get some watch for foot traffic numbers and early indications of what these retailers are seeing in terms of sales and people coming into the stores. That'll give us an idea of what we can expect early next week. I also like some of these carriers like FedEx and UPS. If we do get some robust online sales figures, into the week tomorrow, that might be good for them, as they'll have to deal with the overflow. I don't think Amazon or some of these other sellers or retailers are going to be able to carry all that out on their own if the sales are better than expected.
Okay. We actually had that. That was a nice discussion there that we had yesterday in Happy Hour. Real quick, Jay Rice here. Speaking of David Prince, one of his darlings did well. IMNN. Bless it. I tried to slow it down so that I didn't make a mistake, and I made a mistake. IMNM. India Mary Nancy Mary was under $10 last week. Jay, where were you during the interview? We could have given him his props. You missed me call him Derrick too. Was so embarrassed. Anyway, he was a class act about it. Where were you during the interview? We could have talked about this. Really good stuff there. He's a sharp guy too. Really, really good trader.
VC broke over that 210. So this is what you wanted to see if you were trading VC to the upside. That break over the 210 area. We outlined this pretty much all throughout the show here. Volume still not great. There's another huge amount of orders at 220 and now at 215.
UMAC is going to try and take out the recent high that it just made. Remember, 11 was the target that we both agreed this thing really needs to get over before it challenges those highs. Ooh, actually, it looks like it did. It print 11 on this candle? Let's see.
And then also,
I don't think it did. High 1085 there on that candle.
And then Dave also did the thing where it broke over 95, went up to $96, and then we pulled a little bit, but we're still above 95 for the moment.
UMAC going right above 11. There it goes. Bang, bang, bang.
Bang, bang, bang.
I mean, look, we literally just talked. This is gonna. Oh no, I thought that was gonna halt there. We literally just talked about the level, and the level got smoked.
Oh, this is great.
I know. I scalped that. Thank you, 13. Appreciate you.
Well done. I mean, we could halt if this has a big move over 1150.
It's going to halt right here, actually, 1152.
Okay, well then I guess that was the thing I was talking about. No, it's not done yet.
Nope, never mind. And here it comes back in. LOL.
Okay, well, I'm sure everybody that was trading it for the move that you had mentioned did pretty well. Hopefully they sold, and we're back over 1150 again.
Yeah, I am not. I don't even want to call this one done yet. But it is wild. I would just say be careful up here. Really, the thing that really made the trade successful here has been this VWAP. This VWAP is the buy area. Chasing up here, especially if it's on one of the breaks here. I don't know.
RCAT selling off. Looks like Bloom Energy also.
Oh, no.
A lot of these
darling of the show, RCAT.
Well, we're going to probably see some. Oh, here we go with Infobird. This one, watch for expanding volume in this one. This one's trying to go higher. UMAC, that one, yeah, that's doing a thing there. Joby trying to turn around. Archer trying to get a move off of VWAP. I'd be careful with some of these names. A lot of these look like they're starting to roll over and lose volume and get a little sleepy. No sense in losing all the gains you made just before Thanksgiving. So maybe lighten your trading positions, or just watch the market, see what it does. But I would be careful with trading at this point. Seems like the volume is really drying up. SMCI sold off. Oh, I'm not going to.
I can bring that up.
But Tesla's going down 13, maybe spot on with getting to 315. Next target seems to be 330. Yeah, Big B's. Let me. I think I'm pretty sure that it is going to go to 330 today. That seems pretty likely. That could end up being a bounce spot, but if it isn't, then yeah, that 315. I think we're going to probably see some support around there. That might not happen till Friday or next week. 315, but 330 I think will be on deck today.
Okay, bonjour, Smoke Tuna. Great to see you as always. As always. UMAX still flagging up here. I tell you what, I wouldn't be shocked if that popped higher. I'm just saying. Tramp stamp here might have found an intraday bottom.
GSAT question mark asks white chocolate mocha.
I can bring up GSAT. Are we doing anything with that today? Yeah, it's grinding higher here.
Yeah, it's actually kind of riding its 20-day SMA at the moment. Volume, I would like to see be better than this, especially if we're going to talk about getting over this 192 area that seems to have been resistance. But it's got a couple of good technical setups for it. For one, it just had a golden cross earlier this month on November 11th, so that's really good for upside. Riding the 20-day SMA, as long as it holds that, it still looks like it's going to continue with the upside. Just the one problem I have with this is that the volume doesn't look great. Now, if we do get some volume to expand in this at some point soon, and that takes us back over $2 and maybe even to new 52-week highs? Not quite. There's a high from January that we just topped out at. So let's. Was this one that I said? Let's see if we can get a cup with handle on it.
GSAT?
Sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. But anyway,
I don't remember.
If this can break over, I would sell into the strength of the breakout over 213 because we'll also have an extended RSI at that point. So just a couple of things that if I was trading GSAT, that's what I'd be looking for, is that break over that 212, 213 area. And then I would sell into whatever rally I get out of that as the RSI on the daily would be over 70 at that point.
Breaking non-market news, Daniel Jones has signed with the Vikings.
Sorry, I had to process what that was. I was like,
yeah, I know.
Oh, gosh. Well, okay, so what do you think? Do you think that's better than Darnold?
Well, no, I think that you have a team that is that is surprising to the upside, and you just got yourself a backup quarterback, probably one of the top backups in the league. I think that's pretty smart. for the Vikings. I mean, look, the Giants are a hot mess, man. I mean, Daniel Jones might instantly be better playing for the Vikings. We'll see.
Yeah.
Smashing the like for a great pre-Thanksgiving show. Stay focused. We are thankful for you and everyone else that hits that like button. Really appreciate it. All of the support has been awesome and overwhelming from you folks.
Great mention on IDAI, because that's really coming back up to VWAP, and it looks like it wants to try and take it out. We need better volume than this, but that was a nice move in IDAI.
Yep.
VSIG still holding VWAP, but kind of going sideways. It did this earlier too, where it popped and then went sideways for a bit before it popped and went higher again. So I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen with VSIG, but watch for expanding volume, because that'll help with that move if it's going to do that again. Looks like Archer and Joby are trying to rebound. Joby having a hard time getting back above VWAP. Archer above VWAP. But it looks like it's starting to roll over. It's tramp. I'm sorry, man. You're right. It's a tramp stand.
I called it that.
I didn't, though.
Oh, okay, that's gotcha.
Yeah, I think she was shouting at me, which I deserved.
Seeing some Tesla puts. Tesla pounding the lows, isn't it? Yeah. Ooh. Yes, it is. More new lows here on Tesla as we see a whole bunch of put sweeps.
Well, there's 330
there.
Boom, diggity. There's 330.
Yep, 330 is the strike there too on those Tesla puts. 330, 320, 327 and a half. Lower we go here still.
I'm loving this movement in VC. It's slow, but man, what a great break over 210. This was a really good one. I wish I had taken it, but it was moving too slow for me. Just a great move out of that 210 area. Loved it. Looks like UMAC might be really dropping hard here. I think it's actually going to halt.
Right to the VWAP. Right to the VWAP right here.
And
this is wild. If this okay, so my God. Like you're literally going to halt right at this level. I don't know what's going to happen here next.
I just thought of a new soundboard edition. You ever see Wall-E?
No, I don't have kids.
Oh, okay. Well, in the movie, there's security robots that run around going halt. I just thought it'd be a good sound bit to have every time we see a stock that's about to halt. We just hit that.
Which sound?
I just explained what it was. The halt. It said the robot. One of the robots in Wall-E is a security robot,
and he just yells halt. Okay.
Yeah.
There was because you reminded me. Is that from Judge Dredd?
No.
Yeah, I think it is actually. I think when Rob Schneider is hiding in the robot, he goes halt. I'm pretty sure that's what went off in my head when you were explaining that story. So sorry, I was just trying to explain why I looked like a deer in the headlights there.
Yeah. Hey, all right, Nick, you saw Wall-E. And Izzy IFBD boom. So this one ended up turning around. Oh yeah, there we go. That's what we wanted to see. So that was
right back. That's a great call. Speaking of great calls, here.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that because we were talking about how this one was, getting hammered. It had head and shoulders, and most of the selling was done. That reversal area that we were talking about, that was it. Now we're turning around and we're getting back up into this pre-market consolidation here. I think it's really going to have a hard time around 275. So let's see if that's what happens with IFBD. Maybe some volume expands and just takes out everything. But for now, 275 is going to be the big area where I'd be concerned about. Dave knifed, by the way.
You guys, hopefully you got your cells in there on that one.
Oh, VSIG. This one's ripping.
This has been the best trader of the day. I definitely sold too early and I didn't go back to the well. I should have.
And it's doing. I'm actually flabbergasted. It did exactly what it did last time.
Great vocab word with flabbergasted. God.
I was just talking about how it consolidated earlier and then it ripped higher and then it consolidated again and now we're ripping higher again. I don't think we're going to get this all day. This could end up being the final move for this. So just keep that in mind.
VSIG popping here, really good stuff.
Yeah, it really is. Really, really is. Oh, well done, Izzy. Ring that register. Shouldn't you be calling VC the Viet Cong?
Yeah, Jane, I know we both sold too early, but you know what? We made some money. The real issue that I have, like just kind of looking back on this, is that there were opportunities to get back in here, clearly. And I opted not to take them.
Everything that we are just talking about is, well, not everything, but a lot of these names that we were talking about today are rolling over. BE rolling over. RCAT rolling over. Dave, I'm surprised that's not halted to the downside. Joby, Archer, a lot of these names are really starting to pull now. Looks like SOS, when we were talking about that, is actually having a good day. That just broke over VWAP. What else? I saw another one too. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. There's another one that was doing really well.
Smoke Tuna saying it's a junk run day. Indeed, that is what we expect for the Thanksgiving week. It's what makes it fun. Turkey crack week. And you know what? Friday might even be more lit. Half day, you have to get your trades done early in the day. 13 and I will be here to break it down. There's no question about that.
Thank you,
Bitcoin at the highs. Yep.
Just had a little bit of a bottoming action around 94.30, 350, and we just ripped a whole 1,000.
Anyone excited for their Thanksgiving dinner conversations, whether it be Bitcoin or politics? Is anyone out there excited to have those discussions? I swear to God, I feel like every Thanksgiving, Bitcoin is one of the biggest topics of discussion every year. What is this? Is this an accurate report or no?
This is her kind of poking the bear, because you know how I absolutely love Thanksgiving. It's my favorite holiday, and I was making a case about, you shouldn't be putting up Christmas lights or the Christmas trees before that holiday. I think it's disrespectful, and I think she's just making fun of me because now that the Thursdays and Thanksgiving's out of the way, now I can appease the wife and get the tree and everything up. I think she's just messing with me. But I think it's funny.
Gotcha. No, that sounds well placed. But
I'll be here, Amanda. I'll be here.
Okay, so you just confirmed you're going to be here. Since it's not accurate,
you are fake news.
Sorry, had to. Sorry. Okay. UMAC open. Thank you, Crimp Biscuit. At least one of us is paying attention here. And I told you I'm already on turkey mode. I am on holiday mode right here. UMAC at this spot here, right at the VWAP. We'll see if it bounces from here or if it just breaks and sees you later.
Yeah, it looks like Joby and Archer are going to be, landing, I guess we'll say.
Lower we go here on UMAC.
IFBD rolling over. It's not going higher, that's for sure. I mean, it's getting some resistance from the 65 EMA and this consolidation area, but rolling over, not confirmed yet. It might. I'm not going to say you're wrong about it kind of topping out here, but give it some more time. Let's see if we're actually rolling over here or if it's going to try and push up higher. It still could, but let's get some confirmation.
UMAC bouncing off that spot. LOL.
Market Sniper capturing about 43 cents. Nice job.
Intel was a great play today. You didn't trade it. I didn't even look at Intel. Oh my gosh, you're correct. Stay focused. That was a huge move down. I didn't look at this either. I was not prepared for this. More Nvidia and Tesla puts, by the way. Paradise Pharaoh. We talk about Christmas and Star Wars and Disney since we started watching Christmas movies, and most are on Disney. So you're talking about the streaming service? You're watching Christmas movies?
Okay. That's not a bad idea.
Okay.
You maybe also add what's the Warner Brothers? Is it WBD? Warner
Brothers Discovery?
Yeah. Maybe consider that and Paramount too, because they have their own streaming services. So if you're gonna play the theme with Disney, those other companies also have some holiday movies as well. I think you might want to they're not better than Disney, I don't think, but we might want to consider those for relationship trade. But I think you're right. Disney will probably be the better one since they kind of have the most in terms of streaming right now. I think they have the largest library. VC up 2, and Moana coming out.
To bounce.
That's right. Good mention, Amanda. Moana's coming out. So the Rock is reprising his role from the animated into the live action now. I had some pictures coming out of what is Moana?
I have no idea what you're even talking about.
The live action Moana movie. It was a.
What is that?
Moana is an animated feature.
I don't even know what that is.
It's an animated movie. It's actually not bad.
Okay. I'm gonna stick with Die Hard though. Just saying. Oh, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun this holiday season. That is for certain.
V6 still trying. It's not live action. Oh, is this Moana 2 that you're talking about? Because there is a live action one that they're making. It must be Moana 2. Let me see.
I think it's Moana 2.
Yes,
I don't know, but I'm okay. There we go. I guess I do know.
Yeah, but they are making a live action Moana as well.
Tom, I'm sorry, but the way that you put this made me laugh. Today, I feel like one of those lost toys on the island of misfit toys. Half of my Dell options got smoked. That is the downside of playing options. They can get smoked like that.
Yes, thank you, Nick. Live action is in shooting. They actually have some of those live action shots released of The Rock in his Maui gear.
Does he rock bottom people in this, or is that just?
Oh God, he better do something. I mean, at the very least, he's going to do the signature eyebrow. You know, you're going to get that in the movie.
I mean, I would hope so.
He does it every movie. He's going to do it in this one too. Now, if he rocks bottom some crustacean, that would be awesome.
Okay, what do we got here?
Joke.
I don't.
Replay Game Lab has some. He did some research on ASTS 2 weeks ago. They announced adding 60 satellites to their current 5 Blue Origin rockets over the next 2 years. Using Blue Origin rockets over the next 2 years. Okay, and that's their Blue Jay satellites that they have. So, did they say what? Okay, so next 2 years. So, what's the next upcoming launch? I think there's supposed to be one in January. Is there not? Let me know. You're right, Amanda. He did, didn't he? He did do the eyebrow in the animated one. Yeah, this show has everything. Okay, here, thinking about it, really coming here with some violence towards you, Ryan. Eternal argument. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. It takes place during Christmas and people watch it at Christmas, but it has nothing to do with Christmas. The Santa Claus is a Christmas movie.
Okay, don't worry. I can time out thinking about it here for the next week. Give me 1 sec. I mean, this is just factually incorrect. It has nothing to do with Christmas. He literally writes on a guy he kills, ho, 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 now I have a machine gun. Like, the entire theme of the movie is based around Christmas. The entire reason he's even in Nakatomi Tower is because he's trying to visit his family for Christmas. Not everything is snow and, you know, what did you, the Santa Claus, not everything is about Santa, a fictional character, by the way. Sometimes, you know, bad shit happens on Christmas, and John McClane handled it. This is absolutely a Christmas movie. It's silly.
I love how the chat's going, you know, it's going 2 separate directions now. Also, I'm gonna throw some more fuel on the fire here. By the way, Die Hard was released in July.
Takes place on Christmas.
I know. Also, I think I could put an end to the argument by just saying what Bruce Willis himself said. It's not a Christmas movie. It's a Bruce Willis movie.
You know what? I'm not going to argue with him on that. That's actually a pretty awesome quote there. all that being said, this is one of the most fun arguments. And guess what? Well, we passed the time talking about Die Hard. UMAC decided it was going to be relevant again here as we trade back up towards the highs here. Let's see. What was the last candle that we had here? This one had a high 1078. That's what we really need to break here. And then maybe that 11 level that you mentioned comes back into play.
Bitcoin also continuing to rip into the new highs of the day, looking for 96,000. VSIG, not sure if we're going to get the consolidation and a breakout again like we were getting the past few times this morning, but it is currently setting up to do exactly that. So temper expectations. I don't know if we're going to continue to rip higher and maybe go into the 4 handle, but it's certainly setting up to do that. So let's just say maybe.
Okay.
VC, this is great because what has happened here with VC now after breaking out of 210 and ripping up to 227, it's come back into VWAP and it is currently testing that 210 area as the support now. So if we can hold this VWAP and reverse off this level, I think we may end up seeing a higher print than 227.
Okay.
And this is, you know what? I love all the Christmas movie suggestions. Everybody save this energy for next month when we get close to the holiday, because I think this is going to be great to have as soon as we approach Christmas.
Hey, look, it's the Christmas season starts on Thanksgiving. We're out here having some fun. Love this right here. My Christmas watching will always start with the Seinfeld episode, The Strike. No bagel, no bagel, no bagel. Okay, so this is a really good episode. Kramer, why didn't you ever tell me about this? Jerry, it's embarrassing. I didn't want you to know I was out of work. One of the best lines of the entire series coming from Kramer. There's a really awesome mention here. It doesn't get mentioned a lot, Amanda. I start my Christmas movie watching with Home Alone. The first time that I see it on TV, I will be watching it for certain.
Yeah, I think that's got to be the big one for us. These, our generation is Home Alone really kind of changed the landscape.
Oh, God, that was one of the best movies I ever saw.
Yeah, and what I think really made the movie even better were Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern.
Yeah,
when you have good actors, even if it's a goofy role, when you have good actors playing even a goofy role and really bringing their ability to the screen, that's what makes a movie great. Yeah.
Can't wait to put up my leg lamp for Xmas. I'm gonna have to buy one of those, I think. So it's a Festivus for the rest of us, indeed.
That's funny.
Real quickly here, I wanted to bring this up. I'm going to try to get back to. I'm so on holiday mode that I'm barely able to keep it together here, folks. And I apologize. I will try to do better. But real quick, Nick, you're actually trying to ask a serious question here. How does the market usually perform in December? Normally, it's pretty good. Normally it's a pretty good month. There've been a couple that have been a little bit bloody, but normally pretty good here. One of the things that we see is that the someone was asking about this the other day. Tax loss selling, you normally see wind down at the end of November. And a lot of the times you'll actually see regression to the mean moves or bounce moves off that in December. The wash rule really quickly. If you sell a stock, you cannot rebuy it until 30 days have passed. Otherwise, it's considered the same trade unless you're a mark-to-market trader. I don't want to get into all of that because it's not going to be applicable here. But one of the that whole premise really kind of plays out in December. Now, really quickly, we actually had this discussion about Walmart specifically yesterday on Happy Hour. There's a great graphic here provided by one of the Happy Hour members, and talking about seasonality. He was basically saying if you bought, for as far as Walmart goes, ticker WMT, it almost always trades down in that month of December. So after Thanksgiving into the new year, like 70% of the time, it goes down. And this seasonality graph is actually showing that here. Now, this would buck the market trend there. You say what you will, because I'm currently short Walmart and it's not working. And I was just telling you how I'm looking to get into more of it short. But here's some more data for you. This is coming from a guy that really follows this stuff closely.
Looked like Archer and Joby were trying to turn around and test the highs again. Volume isn't as great as the first time around, so not sure if we'll get a breakout. We're also getting asked about Root, if it was a good buy. One thing that I see with Root is that they did have a golden cross back earlier this month, but it was very extended when it was over $100, and just coming out of that, being overextended, especially today when it went down all the way to the 20-day SMA where there's support at about like $87. So I would. I don't know if this is a good time to get into it now. It's certainly bouncing. Like the better time to get in would have been under 90, but it seems to me like this is in the start of trying to roll over and go lower. I won't know for sure until I get some more confirmation. The MACD is indicating that it might roll over and go lower before it gets it back up to over 100 again. But that's just what I'm seeing right now. So at this point, I'm not sure, but the MACD is indicating that it might go lower, and we are still a little high with the RSI at 68.5. I could see it cooling off a little bit more.
Tom here, Ryan and 13, and my favorite community. Have a happy and safe Thanksgiving. See you guys bright and early on Friday. Enjoy your day off. Enjoy the time with your family. We will see you here on Friday. Take care of yourself, Tom.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Jay. Root still looking pretty extended, like it needs to cool off some more. I would wait for that one, I think.
Might be time to finally trade this one once it does.
Take care, Daniel. No, I'm not sticking to VC. It's just one of the ones that I was looking at because that had a nice setup. What is it doing now? Oh, well, it's come back in. Still above VWAP right now. Yeah, because I was also mentioning, Dave and Joby, Archer, Bloom, Arcat. I was mentioning a whole bunch of these. I just thought that VC had a nice setup, as did Dave, and they broke out. IFBD, that one still might actually not be done either. One thing that I would like to see IFBD do is recapture and hold above both the 200 EMA and the 65 EMA, which are really close together right now. If we can recapture that, there might be even more upside in IFBD today.
There you go.
Happy Thanksgiving, Deborah.
Yep. Take care, Deborah.
Robert.
And Robert. API getting mentioned here. This is at the highs here today. Agora. Oh my God. PGHL. Here's the crazy one. So this was interesting. God, this went to, did this really go to $22 yesterday? Oh shoot. Is that my water delivery? 1 second.
Oh, the thirst is real. All right. So TRNR, that one has
need to step away for just one.
No worries. So not a whole lot happening with that one this morning. UMAC, this has been consolidating ever since we opened. Maybe we get back above 11, but it seems like every time we do, we're not able to hold it. Volume needs to be better as well. Archer almost at the intraday high. Joby, this one still looks like it could go lower. PGHL did 200 yesterday. It was like...
All right, sorry. He's here hours early today.
PGHL, Smoke Tuna is saying that did 200 yesterday, but was that kind of like in the pre-market or something like that? When did it hit 200?
That looks like that was in the regular session. Of course, 200.
Yeah, he's saying it was hit 200 yesterday.
Oh gosh, I don't even have price count. Let me look in a different. Chart. Yeah, I have 107. Oh, you know what though? You're talking about pre-market. That wouldn't show on the chart. Yeah, 218. That was in the after hours. 218.99. I wonder if those trades got broken though. I wonder if they're real. Lol, guys. Ryan's water broke. Thank you thinking about it. Ryan needs to hydrate for wine day. This is actually way more accurate. I'm gonna have a cork pulled by 10 a.m. tomorrow, Amanda. It's gonna be spicy.
Srikar Reddy is asking if I would comment on CRKN. This is a penny stock called Crown Electrokinetics. This is ugly looking to me.
Which one? Kraken? Oh yeah, Kraken.
Okay, Kraken, sure. This continues to just go down and create some very low RSI numbers here. I'd have to think at some point that is going to be, on the radar of bargain hunters looking for, really overblown technicals. This is very, very low RSI. I would think that at some point you're probably going to get some buyers to step in. I'm not sure what this company does exactly. It's chemicals, tint to transition from transparent to black. Okay, so this is kind of like a specialized e-glass window tint company. There's been other companies out there that also do this. I don't know what would make this thing absolutely rip unless there's some kind of energy efficiency play, behind this. But I really couldn't tell you what's going to help lift this thing. The float is, it's slightly under 10 million, so it's, not too heavy to move around. But I got to see what, I got to see what's going to actually push this.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Crow saying here, 2 unnamed Nissan executives saying the company has 12 to 14 months to survive. Yikes, that's no good. That's no good. Not sure how to play that, but ouch. UMAC going here. It's like a number you guys mentioning UMAC. This did trade back above 11 temporarily there.
I also see with CRKN, they actually just recently had earnings, which were pretty good, and they guided higher. Or they reiterated. It looks like they either reiterated or they guided slightly higher. Based on the earnings, it seems like there could be something good here. I don't know enough about this to know when it's going to turn around. The income statement isn't great looking. Balance sheet, it's okay. Don't have a whole lot of debt due in the next 12 months. I just really can't say. It seems like at some point this could be really good, but I don't know enough about this in order to have a good opinion on when this might turn around. But it's got a good technical setup for some kind of bounce, especially with such a low RSI. It just needs some kind of catalyst. I don't know what that would be, but that's what it's going to take in order for this to turn around. So sorry I couldn't give you more on that.
That was a ton. Are you kidding me? That's an absolute ton for a 30-cent junkie penny stock.
Okay.
That's a ton.
Okay.
I think you went above and beyond.
Speaking of above and beyond, Archer broke out.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Buzz Lightyear. That would have been so perfect. Anyway, we'll go back to Archer.
And UMAC is also saying in the chat, still needs to get over 11. I mean, it's been printing some numbers above that, but I want to see it hold above 11. That seems to be the big area that it's having the hardest time with today. Just holding above 11. Well, it looks like Infobird flipped. Now is now beneath BWAP.
Oh, geez, I typed it in wrong. But just under 75, that really came in, didn't it? That's like 10 points from that. Yeah, this was 85, 86 bucks. So over 10-point move back off those earnings. And actually, we were 87 yesterday in the after hours. Wow. But that was a huge, huge pop. This a little bit more back down to earth here.
Sony mentioning VC. This one has lost its VWAP and that 210 level, so that lost support. Next support area is going to be kind of right where it got it already at about $2. There is a little bit of support, actually, right about $2. That's the best support area I see. So if it loses that, then this is probably going to be done for now and maybe even until after the lunch hour. CYCN just popped over BWAP.
Okay, we were watching that one all day.
Yeah, it doesn't have great volume, but this one's starting to turn around. I think the big level it needs to get back over right now is the 65 EMA, which I currently have at about 198, 199. And then there's going to be this consolidation from about 205 to 220.
VKTX having a pretty decent day here. That's coming up off the bottom.
Happy Thanksgiving, Sideshow.
Yeah, take care, everybody. And we're actually pretty soon, we're going to be turning it over here to Zunaid to take us into, I believe, story trading. So there it is,
What
Zunaid.
is going on?
Did I get
Good
that
morning.
right, or did I totally butcher that?
You did not butcher that. That's exactly
Let's
what we're
go.
going to go. We're going to have Ben and Rhett from Story Trading to take us for 30 minutes, and then you'll have myself and Kevin for Futures Fever after that one. But how's y'all's trading been?
Well,
Fantastic.
It's been good today. Yeah, it's been good. This has been a really good week, honestly, Zunaid. Today was good. Yesterday was better, but today was good. Today was really good. We really digressed, though. We started talking about Christmas movies, Thanksgiving food. We really kind of flew off the handle here. So we're all in holiday mode. So we're all having a great day.
Oh yeah, I'm the garbage man today. I've been picking up trash and profiting from it.
Take that.
I need to put that to my arsenal in terms of things to say on the internet. Cool. Well, appreciate both of you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Great time, and we will see you on Friday.
Take care.
Yep. Take care.
All right, let me go ahead and bring up Ben. What's going on, man? Where are you going tomorrow?
Just my parents, like usual, like every time.
That's
outside
sweet.
Philadelphia.
You're flying or are you driving though?
Driving. Yeah, I you know what? I don't go today. I used to go on Wednesdays, Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evenings, but the traffic is insane. So now I go Thursday morning, no traffic, much easier.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Let me go and bring up Brett and the Godfather as well, along with your charts, fellas. The show is all yours. I'll be back in 30.
All right, awesome, man, guys. What a crazy, awesome day for story trading, for stocks. This morning we're coming in saying Urban Outfitters top pick. We saw Kodak, which we gave you as a top pick yesterday morning, explode. Bitcoin, we saw this move. We're like, let's get into some crypto stocks, top pick. OPTT, we'll talk about that in a second. But then UMAC hit. We have been all over UMAC since the RCAT news. So our community, thanks to the Godfather, hello there, the Godfather. He introduced Red Cat to our community at like $2 over the summer. We stuck with that. What's that?
$1.67.
$1.67. He introduced it to our community. We stuck with RCAT all the way through till now. All right. It's been a huge winner for our community. Maybe the top winner for a lot of people in our story trading community, along with TSSI. So we've been all over this theme, this drone theme. And as a result, we're closely looking at these other drone stocks. We have a drone list. So check this out. We got RCAT. We got UMAC. We got OPTT. We have all these stocks ready to go. We've been trading UMAC pretty much every single day. We've been trading UMAC since the RCAT news. And then this morning, we get the news right here. We're on it quickly because we're close eyes on UMAC in our community. Someone gave us the alert in our community. Donald Trump Jr. joins the board. The thing spikes up to $9, $10, and we were all over this dip, telling everyone to get in big on UMAC on that dip, and it's been paying off really, really good. This has been probably the best trading day of the year for me because of all these things going on. But I do not think it's too late for UMAC. I don't think it's over. All right. You know, when the Tesla, let me just go back to Tesla. After the election, Tesla, this whole move, we called this whole move. Okay. Still, Tesla's not where we want it to be. I think Tesla, the prediction I put out was all-time new highs by Inauguration Day. Why? Because of politics, because of the association between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and the speculation, the sentiment value that's going to be given to Tesla over the next 4 years in terms of robo-taxi and FSD and everything else like that. We've been all over that, and now you have the same dynamic with UMAC. Why? Because Donald Trump Jr. joins the board of UMAC on this little $85 million market cap company. All right. So now you have the same dynamic in play. But let me tell you a little bit about why. Why did Trump Jr. join this? Why is this important? Why can we now speculate that UMAC will win some deals? UMAC is a drone supplier to RCAT, but they also make their own drones. Now, the thing about UMAC that's special They focused on making their entire supply chain and production of their drones domestically in the United States. All right. A lot of the drone parts come from China. And this is the reason Donald Trump Jr. is joining the board, the advisory board of UMAC, is because made in the USA. And the Trump administration is all about made in the USA. The market can now speculate that UMAC will be winning government contracts in the future. And that's why you're seeing this thing up 85 million. Personally, I think a good chance this won't peak until a pre-market on Monday. All right. You got this ideal situation with a day off tomorrow. So all the buying pressure is going to, build up over tomorrow, get this stock to spike Friday morning. It's a short day, Friday to 1 p.m. Also, you have the dynamic during the Thanksgiving week here where a lot of small caps do get squeezed because the institutions that like to short, they're a little bit checked out on vacation, and retail kind of owns the price action between now and Friday. So a lot of factors going for UMAC right now. This is 60% of my day trading account right now. Got in around $7 average or so. I think it was around there. So this is great. Godfather, I'll turn it over to you. Thoughts on UMAC before we get to other stuff?
Okay, yeah, look, you can't really value this thing on fundamentals at this point because it's about what's to come. And there are times when you're a fundamentalist that you just have to look at the bigger picture and not look at what it is now, but look at what it can become. Certainly it's going to become a Trump stock. Again, it's not just Trump, it's Elon's been all over the drones as well. If you look at his XIII lately. So, people will look for a vehicle, and there aren't a lot of publicly traded vehicles to play drones in terms of small cap stocks. There's a handful of them. A couple of them are clear scams, and some of them have real businesses. This is a real business. It's got a float of 3 million shares. So it's got the capital structure. It's a clean business. It's already, showing growth of 100% year over year. Yes, it's now trading at around 10 times EV to sales, but, so be it. The size of the orders could go up dramatically here, especially if they become part of this initial part of this supply chain. And it seems clear that momentum has shifted from the large sort of $10 million type drones that AV makes to these small drones that ARCAT really is the publicly traded market leader of winning this program of record. And doing the surviving the whole down selection process out of 37 companies to win this government business, which took over 5 years. So it's important. It's important that people understand that there's a scarcity premium to be paid for these names, and this thing is going to trade on any positive development for drones. Period. It is now simply a go-to trading vehicle along with ARCAT.
Yeah. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the capital structure? And I think there's some converts or something. That may be why we're bumping against it. Is there something going on where those things are being converted? It's over a strike price and we got to maybe get through that. What's that about?
No, not on UMAC. The capital structure on UMAC is super clean.
Oh, really? I thought they have some converts. No converts?
Nope. There's some RSUs. There's 1 million RSUs. There's 300,000 warrants or options at $1.24. It is a super clean capital structure. Perhaps. Oh, wow. It was OPTT. That you're talking maybe. About?
Yeah. OPTT. OPTT. I said how many times I put the T in there, right? OPTT. All right. OPTT. This one, I think, can definitely be considered what we like to call a shitco, a small penny stock. But however, there's something there because, and even if there's not something there from a sentiment perspective, there's something there because now ARCAT, everything that's touching ARCAT has some level of credibility right now. Okay, after that $400 million U.S. Army contract, so ARCAT has business dealings with UMAC, they have business dealings with OPTT, and they have business dealings with PDYN, which you saw explode because of this relationship between ARCAT and PDYN. So OPTT is one of them. We interviewed the CEO of ARCAT yesterday to get a little bit more color what that relationship is about. Capital structure is not clean. You'll talk about that in a second. However, there's a couple catalysts here, which I think will keep a bid under this stock. Now, we first gave OPTT to our community at 16 cents with a 21-cent target. It blew through that 21-cent target yesterday, so I had to reevaluate. When I was reevaluating, I came across the fact that they are reporting earnings early Monday afternoon, preliminary earnings. So they put a press release out like last week. We're going to report earnings early, and then we'll have the full earnings later. That's interesting. That could be around some kind of major announcement, the reason they want to do that early. The other thing is there was an insider buy last night. It wasn't a big insider buy, but that's obviously good for sentiment. And then you have the dynamics of the short Thanksgiving week I talked about, which are good for small cap. So you'll give us a disclaimer on the capital structure in a second. But for me, I think I think you're going to have an underlying bid in the stock for the next couple of days, and maybe it doesn't peak out till Monday afternoon before that early earnings report. So I've upgraded my target from 21 cents to 45 cents all the way to $1. I think is possible. This high risk, smaller size. It's definitely a shitco. Godfather, tell us what you think about the capital structure situation here.
Well, let me just talk about the fundamentals for a second in terms of the business. And I think this harkens back to your interview with Jeff at the CEO of ARCAT yesterday. He talked about collaborating with them to put drone swarms on their water-based drones. And between water and air, and he specifically talked about the strait in Taiwan, arming that up both from the water as well as the air, and how a simple swarm of these low dollar value small drones could take down multi-million-dollar or $100 million fighter jet, that kind of thing. So this is where you really start to see the potential importance of this. And if you can coordinate drones on water along with drones on air, drones launched from water as well as those launched from land, it's potentially very, very impactful. The one thing about the capital structure is 100 million shares outstanding. In August, they increased their authorized share count from 100 to 200 to accommodate this deal that they have. And you can go to the footnotes, subsequent events in the most recent 10Q and see this. With an institutional investor, they have a deal whereby they can issue upwards of $6 million worth of stock, and it's priced at an 80% discount to the 5-day VWAP prior to close. So this is a typical sort of death spiral type financing where these guys go in, short the stock, exercise the option to take down the financing, and pocket the difference between the two because they're guaranteed to get a price below the prevailing price with this discount to VWAP structure. So look, when I did the math, this thing was trading at like 16 cents when you first looked at it. And, under that structure, assuming the sort of pricing that we saw prevailing, I used like 12 cents. That would raise, upwards of 9 million in total. Actually, there's two tranches here. There's 5 million and then another 4 million. So there's 9 million in total. That would be like 75 million shares, which would balloon the capital structure by 66%. Clearly, the higher the share price goes, the lower that dilution is. So it gets to a point where people will start to focus on the amount of money that's being raised and the future potential here as opposed to the dilution. So, hence the reason, despite this in the capital structure, I own some shares.
Awesome. Sounds good. Always good to have you on board on these sentiment catalyst plays that don't have the fundamentals as much. But then it's just so overwhelming. It overcomes the fundamentals. Ooh. I love it. I love it when you join me. What's that, Rhett? What happened?
Oh, nothing. I'm just watching Pony AI just IPO'd.
Oh, really? Yeah. I don't know anything about it. I see Pony Open. What's the ticker symbol on that?
Pony, Pony.
It's an AI stock, Pony AI. Just opened up and 14 to 15.
It's a Chinese AI stock that does AI for autonomous
vehicles.
Uber was rumored to be investing in the IPO. So it was destined to be a hot IPO.
All right, let's throw that over into our watch list. All right. So, all right, there you go. UMAC, we covered that. OPTT, we covered that. Let me quickly talk about Urban. This is just a classic. This is just a beat and raise. Urban Outfitters. Listened to the CC last night. Gave a buy alert at $42 for a community with the target of $48 to $50 today. We hit 47.44. It did common shares last night into this morning. switch to call options at the open. We'll see if we hit our target of $48 to $50. Kodak, this is one we gave an alert to our community yesterday morning at about $6.30 with a price target of $7.50 to $10. They quickly hit $8.74 here in pre-market this morning after a Reddit board picked it up. Reddit all over this one. This is basically they're unlocking pension surplus. It's a catalyst I've been waiting for years. Finally, Kodak is unlocking that pension surplus. It's going to bring in like $500 million or maybe $550 million cash, which is going to repay some debt with. So that's why you're seeing that move on Kodak. I don't know if we'll come back if you have some thoughts on that. I just want to go over. Yeah, why don't we stop there? Make it quick though. The Kodak one. What do you think of this? I don't know if you took the trade, or I know you have a little not as bullish as me on it, but
I'm not as bullish on it. I did the math on it. As I said in our Discord, fair value for this thing, once you net out the debt that they have to pay back and the couple $100 million that they need to use to set up the new plan to replace this one that's being dissolved, it gets me to a value between 7 and 750. So stock peaked at what, 743. I would have been a seller there if I was in this trade. I was not. I understand that Reddit was all over this, but their math was simply wrong. So look, when this thing, this is not the first time that they have rumored that this pension defined benefit plan was going to be.
It's been a couple of years. We've been
liquidated. Yeah, and the last time it traded in that 7 to 750 range. Now it's clearly going to happen. I do think the board is going to approve it. I think it's going to happen. So you have to look at what this company looks like afterwards. The problem with Kodak is that it's a money-losing company. It's still going to be a money-losing company after this. If you do an actual enterprise value to sales type calculation, because you can't do anything based on profitability, it's trading around 0.4 times EV to sales, which is cheap. But the top line is falling by 7 to 10% annually. Now, could that change if they've got some new chemical business? I heard some rumors that they're getting into a drug business, but I also heard some rumors that the Trump administration is probably favorable for their key chemical business by putting some tariffs on the Chinese competitive imports. So all that's possible. But again, at this point, until some of that shows its face, I think you safely buy this in the 650 range and you sell it in the 750 range.
Yep. All right. Sounds good. And there is, by the way, all that sentiment you talked about, you can see it on the chart. The first time when Trump was president, they tried sending him a big grant.
You can get my full analysis on all that. It's all archived and everything.
Yeah, make sure to follow S Mantle on X, and to get all his research, you can join our Discord through his profile.
None of that research is on X, by the way. You got to be part of our Discord.
All right, so head on over to S Mantle, click on his profile, and then you can join the Discord through his profile and get access to all that great research.
And use codes TradeZero for Thanksgiving. TradeZero. I'll put that in the chat.
Oh, okay, that works also on on Godfather's link. Great. All right, so we got a code for Thanksgiving. TradeZero. Okay, so let's see what else is going on here. So UMAC, I'm not worried about. I'm holding this with, I got to be honest with you, I'm holding this with diamond hands. I'm probably going to swing almost my entire position into Friday. So let's see what happens there. All right, diamond hands there. Also, I'm doing diamond hands on OPTT. At least until Friday. All right, let's move on down. I heard you guys are talking about ACHR is crazy. I sold yesterday. I had a position from like 5 or 6, something like that. Sold it yesterday. Maybe I got in lower. But this one was a crazy one because I initially got in. It was actually the morning after the election. It was Wednesday morning. I gave a buy alert on ACHR because the Sunday before the election, Trump gave a little talk, and he was talking about how we have to be the leaders in electric vehicle takeoff and landing, eVTOLs, because Asian countries are beating us and we got to be the leaders. So when he won, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, I made this a top pick. And I know someone in our community picked up some call options, quickly made a nice amount of money on it. Imagine if it was kept. I obviously got a bump. I didn't know this whole big thing would happen. But ACHR, Joby, obviously, good sentiment plays on that Trump's push for eVTOL. Hopefully I can get a chance to get back in. Market cap 3.6 billion. Again, I sold yesterday. Crazy.
I think it's a very good analog here for what's happening with drones.
Yes.
In terms of the Trump trade.
Yep. I agree with that.
I think the same
there
kind of
is
shine that these EVTL stocks are
yeah,
seeing.
but can you imagine? I don't know if you remember my call there, November 7th. Like, why didn't I just buy some for the long term and keep it? All right, should have done that. All right, so that's that. We see Bitcoin. We gave an incredible calls on Bitcoin over the weekend. Sunday morning, we put out an alert that 100,000 clearly got rejected. 93,500 is your next target. And then when we broke below 93,500, this chart, when we broke below 93,500, we said next target 90,000. Now we were on live stream yesterday. I don't know if you were there, Godfather. I was on live stream with you, Rhett, yesterday after the close because we're looking at some earnings reports and stuff. And it dipped into the 90,000. We were there right when it's happening, right? And I said like 90,000 is a target, but I said, but I got to wonder when it popped back above 91,000. I said, maybe that was the bottom because to me, it was clear. I'm like, everyone in the world knows it's going to 90,000. And if everyone in the world knows it's going to 90,000, it's not going to go to 90,000 because it's going to be front ran and people are going to buy it. So 1 over 91, we were looking at MSTR at the time and like, maybe the bottom's in. And then I gave the buy signal again when we got back above that 93,500, alerted the community that we're back on with a buy. I don't know what's wrong with my chart here. Okay. And now I know, Godfather, you got a thesis here, which I agree on about Thanksgiving weekend, Thanksgiving season for Bitcoin. What's your play? What do you think about Bitcoin and Mara and MSTR?
Yeah, look, if you go on X and you look at the top guys that provide thoughts, both technical and fundamental, to the extent that they crunch all of the quantitative statistics that are out on Bitcoin, they were all calling for approximately a 9% pullback, which takes you to that 91,000 level, and we got to 90,600. So it was textbook, and there's a lot of analogs, different years, but specifically, if you look at 2020 and Thanksgiving, we saw exactly the same type of trade pattern, a dip of around 10%. Just going into Thanksgiving and then shot to new highs coming out of Thanksgiving. So if you take that kind of analog chart and you extrapolate it, you get to, I'm just looking at the numbers here, in the 6 months following, you get to 150% rally potentially after a 9% pullback on Thanksgiving week. So that's calling for, these guys are calling for like 156,000 on Bitcoin. But irrespective, I think the important thing is breaking through 100,000. And the first week of December is seasonally always a very strong week for whatever reason for Bitcoin. So
how do we play it? A lot of
I play it through you have to play it through the ETFs. You absolutely have to have some ETF exposure. Pardon me?
It seems like the BITX, when you're trying to time Bitcoin, the miners has not always worked out for me. So, they don't always move in the direction you think. So I got Mara this morning and it's not working out yet.
Yeah, look, I play this three ways. I have a long-term position in Cores, as you know, which, is one of the big miners, but, more importantly has a market-leading position in high-performance compute. So that's sort of a chicken way to play Bitcoin, if you will. You want a real business with real cash flows, long-term recurring revenues. You can play that and still get exposure to Bitcoin. I own BITX, which is the 2X futures on Bitcoin, which is going to trade perfect correlation and give you extra leverage. And then I own some Mara, only because I was too scared to own MSTR, and I sort of felt like I missed it. And, Mara is the second largest hodler. They've got 10% of the position that MSTR has. They're around 35,000 BTC, but they're also the largest in terms of hash power, in terms of the miners. So this thing is extremely volatile, but the thing that I do like about it is it appears, with the $800 million 0% convert that they just used, partly to pay down and refinance other debt, but partly to buy 5,500 Bitcoin, adopting a bit of the Michael Saylor model. To the extent they get any shine from that and can accretively add Bitcoin per share, this has been the big knock with these guys. They've been diluting like crazy because mining is a very capital intensive business. But if they spend more money buying Bitcoin and hodling on their balance sheet as opposed to spending it on CapEx, then I think this becomes, in some respects, a mini MSTR. The other and more important thing is, if you look at my X feed, you'll see I did an analysis of the entire publicly traded crypto universe. And these guys have the largest short position of any Bitcoin miner with a market cap over $2.5 billion. So that comes into play, except the fact that this is going to have volatility in excess of Bitcoin itself. So, I'm bullish Bitcoin, and I'm trying to play it 3 different ways.
All right, sounds good. I love it when you're bullish things that don't have fundamentals. Makes me very happy. All right. All right. Want to draw your attention to TMDX.
Not for me, but some markets you just got to plug your nose, make money.
Yeah. By the way, look at this Yams green to red. That was crazy. We're up 10% this morning.
Got rejected hard at 35.
Yeah, I mean, this might be the top for a few days. Like, you got a candle like that. But I own this for the long term. I did not get shaken at all on this Amazon dip. I was telling our community to buy it. I sold some puts on that Amazon dip, and then you get the McClory, I guess his name is, whoever's coming to FDA, which is good for GLP-1s. So interesting reversal candle here today. I'm not playing it other than the long-term position on that and some short puts, which are, oh, by the way, we started I don't know if I said this on last week's show, but we started a new portfolio. We call it the Story Trading Yield Optimized Wheel, the Story Trading YO. All right. This is, you may be familiar with the wheel where you sell puts to kind of get a stock lower, and then you sell calls against it. So we kind of do that with some twists. We don't want to own the stock. We want to sell puts at prices where we're never going to get the stock. It's all about income generation. And we sell puts when you have inflection catalysts. This is a little counterintuitive. A lot of people sell puts on support lines on a chart. I'm selling puts on good news, so the premium can decay very fast. This way we get annualized yields of 50 to 100% on puts we sell. Then we actively monitor those. And when the remaining yields get low, like under 20%, we'll close it out, sell puts on something else. It's called the Story Trading Yield Optimized Wheel. And we give real-time alerts on entry and exits all the time, every day on that. Plus, try to do a daily education stream on that as well. So why I bring that up? Because I sold puts on Yams down here, looking good. We're running short on time. I just want to say a couple things. We have 650 people watching on our stream. We're simulcasting this on the Story Trading X. So if you're new to Benzinga, Benzinga has programming all day long. Make sure you follow them on X at Benzinga, and also their YouTube channel, youtube.com/Benzinga, and you can get their content all the time. They're pretty much on all the time. Benzinga. Just want to give a shout out for that. Now, let me see if there's any other.
Can I just quickly tease in our Discord for those that are bullish on Yams and bullish on GLP-1s? I'm going to save this ticker for folks that are in our Discord. But
that's right.
But we have essentially a mini Yams, a little company that combines the business plans of Yams, Uber, and Shopify, if you will. We gave this at the equivalent of 55 cents. It's currently trading at 87. It's got a market cap of around 35 million US. I think it's potential 10x next year. It's a mini Yams, if you will. Be part of the Discord, and you can get all the DD on that.
All right, lots of research on that mystery name in Godfather's channel in our Discord. Again, go to his profile, S Mantle, and you can sign up through there. All right, let me see. I think there was one other thing I want to talk about. TMDX. So TMDX has been on my list to get in. I have a list of stocks that have been selling off end of year here that I think were being punished because of tax law selling. And I was like, I'm going to get into these stocks third week of December. TMDX is one of them. There's a bunch of others, Air, Celsius, a few others. But it broke the 20 DMA this morning, and I jumped in at least on some call options for a day trade. We'll see how that goes. But this might be it. I'm not sure, but breaking this 20 DMA might be it. TMDX is a favorite growth company of a lot of people on FinTwit. It's pulled back from 180 to 84, so this is something interesting we're watching. Any comments, Rhett, from the chat room?
Yeah, we have one. It's a couple of them. There was one saying ZENA.
Scam.
ZENA. That's a scam. There you go. Stay away. Down 23%. We don't do scams.
Someone also said, where was it? It was OPTT, but we
we talked about that. Yep. I'm holding this. I probably into Friday at least. I went through the thesis. It's nearing high of day right now. It's my second largest position right now, my trade account. UMAC being the largest position, followed by OPTT. So I guess go rewind this later.
And then there's another one, QUBT. That's also a scam. I was just reading something on that.
That's the quantum ones, QUBT.
Yeah, Iceberg Research comes out with a short report on that. We already alerted our community that that's one you want to stay away from.
All right, we're going to stay away from that. All right. So, yeah, if you want more info on all these stocks, head on over to storytrading.com/Discord. And what's the code again, Rhett?
TradeZero. Let me put it in here again.
TradeZero. What does that give them?
It gives them $40 a month.
Oh, are you serious? Recurring? They get a recurring discount? Oh my guys, you're never going to get a deal like this again.
And then the other thing is too, though, it's limited to 5 spots for each of us, so they got to act fast. And I think
5
a couple
spots through the Godfather, 5 spots through us. Code TradeZero,
and it expires Thursday at midnight.
Wow! All right, great. So everyone's making a killing in our community right now. So join the party. I got a trade account that I've been doing based on our daily picks. It's up from $20,000 to $100,000 in 1 month now, 5x. So if you want to be part of possible returns like that, head on over and join our Discord. Zunaid, how's it going?
It's going well. Appreciate y'all's insights all the time. And what do you guys ever play January effects? By the way, I know my head's cut off here. Let me switch that for a moment. But do you guys ever play like the January effects or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And that was part of why I wanted to get into these tax loss selling plays like TMDX. January effect is basically, the way I look at it, it's the stocks that are underperformers in 2023. The selling gets over exaggerated here from the end of November into the third week of December. They start bottoming out in the third week of December, and they have great Januaries. But it's not only that. There's other things. There's sentimental reasons, psychological things. There's lots of new deals that are announced January 1st and company updates. So there's a lot of things that go into particularly smaller caps, micro caps, and again, the ones that were sold off that didn't have good 2023s. Yeah. That's what I call the January effect, and it really starts like the third week of December. So we're going to be all over that.
All right. Well, as always, appreciate y'all's insights. Have a safe drive up to meet your parents. Rhett, Godfather, hope you guys enjoy a great Thanksgiving. Stay safe.
Take care. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Next week. All right. Yep. Chat, we'll go ahead and say goodbye to Ben, Rhett, Godfather from Story Trading, and then we'll go ahead and say hello to my man, Kevin. Kevin, what's going on, brother?
Good, man. How's it going, man? Happy Wednesday. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hope everybody's got some good plans to enjoy time with their families.
What are you up to tomorrow before we go over the show?
I mean, tomorrow I'm just taking it easy. I know the future markets are open till 1 p.m. Obviously, the New York Stock Exchange, these markets are not open, so the volatility is going to probably be pretty dry. So I'm staying out of it. Tomorrow's a holiday, spending some time with the family.
All right. Hey, love it. Let me go ahead and quickly just go over what Apex is and all that other good stuff. Let me go ahead and present my screen here in a moment, and we can get rocking and rolling. Of course, they do have an 80% sale going on still for another day or so. We'll see what percentages later on, but for now, you can go ahead and take advantage of that. So here's what Apex is, chat. It's a eval, and we'll talk about futures here in a moment, but it's a eval kind of platform, right? So if you like to trade futures, whether you're a professional, whether you're a beginner, whatever the case may be, you can get what's called a $50,000 eval account, where it may cost you approximately $36, and you'll be able to try to get profits of $3,000 on that $50,000 eval. And if you do, you get moved to what's called a funded account, where you get a chance to go ahead and make some actual money on it. So it's kind of in between of paper trading and also real money. It's the fine line in between. I personally use it. Matter of fact, I'll show you guys a couple of trades that I've taken with it. And it's a easier way for me to kind of control my mental when I'm getting in and out of trades. That's the way that I like to use it. I know, Kevin, you've used it in the past. What's your experience been before we dive into the charts?
Yeah, Apex is great. It really gives traders who are just starting out or might not have that capital the advantage, right? So I know when I started trading like 5 years ago, we didn't really have prop firms like this. Now we have prop firms everywhere. But Apex really, in my opinion, sort of top of the food chain, especially with the recent updates they had. Now they're not so recent. It has been about a month or two, but they really are a great great place to get started.
Yeah.
You know, give yourself a challenge, give yourself goals, right? Start off with one evaluation account, let yourself pass it, maybe get funded, get a payout, and then say, okay, now let me do a second eval and start to build up, right? So don't go all heavy. Don't start with 20 at the gate and blow all 20. You know, if you're just getting started with trading, you should always be looking to risk the minimum.
Solid advice there. All right, let me go ahead and get your charts up here if you want to kind of go over what you're looking at in terms of level, especially if you have any trades that you've taken recently. I'd love for the chat to see that. So if you want to share your screen, you're welcome to.
Yeah,
in the
for
meantime,
sure. Oh, absolutely. I apologize.
No, you're good, brother. In the meantime, I'll kind of go over what I'm looking at here in the charts. Let me go ahead and that's the daily. Let's go to the 65. So here's kind of what I was looking at. You have a trend line. So this one starts here on November 19th. So last week or a couple of weeks ago. And you have, just got logged out. I'll have to log back in here in a moment. Just go ahead. Give me 1 second. All right. So you have let me go ahead. You have one touch point right here and the second one right there. And of course, we did go ahead and break on that. I mean, excuse me, I guess 1, 2, 3. And then on that fourth one, you did break. And we're looking to possibly go ahead and have a retest. I am going to look to enter on this retest of the trend line. And again, I'm logged down, so I have to log back in and kind of show you all that trade. But let me have you go through your charts here because I got to respond back to a Slack here in a moment.
Yeah, for sure. If you want, I could go over the NASDAQ. We could cover that trend line that you were looking at, see how well of a break we might have, right? So let's see. We have our previous day high and previous day low. We are below the previous day low. So me personally, I always like to look for trends in the market, whether we're breaking previous day highs continuously, breaking previous day lows continuously, or if we're just range bound and haven't taken out either of these. If we haven't taken out either of these, a lot of times each move ends up failing. Now we are below that previous day low and we are trying to come back above. I would definitely be careful on any shorts at this point because of how drawn down we are today on the NASDAQ. This is already about a 230-point move. So I would be careful and watch how we react to that trend line. We are in what I have is a demand zone right here on the, I want to say the 4 hour, the 1 hour. So we could take a look at the 1 hour and I'll show you how I found that. So on the 1 hour time frame over here, if we turn the drawings off, we have our basing candle near a low, and then we have our move higher with continuation. So this was the last area of consolidation before we had our move higher. So we would mark that out as our demand zone. We would look to see how buyers react whenever we land there. So right now, I would definitely watch that trend line and see if maybe we could close back above and see if it wants to set up for a long position, right? The market has been pretty bullish lately, even though it has been struggling to stay bullish as we see on the daily time frame. It's always easier to see this on a higher time frame than it is on a lower. Whenever you switch your time frames, you're always going to be changing your bias. So make sure you know what time frame you're looking at so you know what bias to continuously have. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on that trend line. Let's see. We also, it looks like we sort of have a trend line right here coming down this way. Not the cleanest, but it looks like it's trying to hold. But definitely keep an eye on that because now we are making lower highs out of supply. Let's see. So as we see on the NASDAQ, we have our range, we have our break, and then we have this was a 1 hour demand zone right here. And guys, if anybody does want to go over any pre-market preps with me, the next 10 people who go into the tradingpioneers.net and use discount code, what code did I make it? Oh my goodness, you'd think I'd write that down. Use discount code EDGEFUL, EDGEFUL, to get 100% off my morning briefings on a lifetime. So this is sort of like a beta. Just want to test it out and send it out there. So check that out at tradingpioneers.net. And you do get 50% off your first coaching session if you use discount code Benzinga. Now let's take a look at the ES. The ES is another heavily traded futures that we could keep an eye on. Now, something I like on the ES is we hit this key level right here, this red daily level. Now, I like to find my key levels on a higher time frame, an hourly, a 2 hour, a 4 hour, and a daily. And the reason for that is because it holds a lot more strength than something like a 15-minute, a 30-minute. Now, because I found this from the open, this used to be a supply zone. This level now works as a key level, and we could see how the market reacts Every time we get there, we see we reacted with consolidation. It tried to hold. It was resistance, and now it's acting as support. So again, if you are trying to figure out how to find key levels like this, you can always check out my website, tradingpioneers.net. I also have some free PDFs that you guys could download as well. So let's take a quick look at some crude and gold too. Now, something I noticed on crude, and I'm sure if anybody here does trade crude oil futures, you guys could let me know in the comments what futures you guys trade and we could go over them. So something I noticed on crude today is we're very range bound and we're not even near any supply, demand, previous day high or previous day low. So because I have my plan, my rules and everything else, I'm able to say, okay, we're not near any zones. We're not near any areas of interest. Everything then becomes low probability. And I know my best bet is to stay out of the market, right? To sit cash. Cash is a position. We have to be risk managers when we become traders. We have to protect our capital. So this is crude oil. Again, very range bound. If we look at the daily time frame, what's up, Zunaid?
What's up? Good. I'll give you my insights here as soon as you're done. Good.
Yeah, no problem. We did have a contract change on crude and gold as well. I just want to show you guys a real quick trick on TradingView. So when we get a contract change, all of our zones get shifted a little bit. So what you could do is you could come over to the object tree and you're going to click the top drawing, scroll all the way down and hold shift, click the bottom drawing. So now you have them all selected. And what you're going to do is come over to settings, displacement, and you're going to do the plus. And then you do whatever, plus or minus, right? So if the chart gaps up, all the zones are higher, you would make it maybe lower. So you would make it less than 10 points. And then it moves every single drawing by that amount. So you don't have to go in there and manually change all of them.
And then, of course, you've got, so is there any trade? So I'm sorry, you're going to place, you have any like entries that you're possibly eyeing here on this?
Yeah, so yesterday I was looking for crude shorts up in 70.39 and we reversed right at 70.30. So I was really hoping today we would be able to break that previous day high in reverse. Unfortunately, we did not. And again, very range bound on crude. So nothing too much on crude here. Gold, take a look at gold. And the reason I'm looking at crude and gold is because obviously ES, the NQ, they have been pushing lower. Today, they've been breaking demand. However, again, a strong lack of volume today, right? We have holiday tomorrow, Thanksgiving tomorrow. Any big major traders, major prop firms, whatever it might be, institutions, they might be traveling this week, right? So they're not really moving the market per se like they normally do. So it's really important to be able to recognize that and say, okay, maybe this week just isn't my week. Maybe this week I don't have my edge. I'm much better off staying cash.
Yeah. Of course, and let me go ahead and share what I've got here on the. I wonder if this trade has actually triggered. I don't think it has. I don't know why. Oh, maybe it has. Let me see. Do I have a position yet? Okay, that's interesting. I got to take a look. So what I'm trying to figure out is, I want to go ahead and go short here. Let me actually go to the MNQ and maybe take a couple of smaller contracts.
Sure.
And see if that's where is. One moment. Interesting. Is it a different? Oh, there it is. I was like, why in the world is this a little bit different than what I've got here? It is still different, though. I've got to figure out why that might be. But I want to see, because I know I put in an order to be entered here. For some reason, I just don't see it. Like you can go to account summary, go to orders. Working. I don't see any inactive, filled. That's so weird.
Maybe it canceled. Did you cancel it perhaps?
I believe I might have, because I still don't see it. So let me go ahead. Oh man, see, it already kind of got my fill and it's a little bit below. So that's going to be a little annoying for me. Here, let me just go to MNQ just so we can go ahead and get into a trade on this one.
For sure.
And let's go ahead and say we want to sell 5, risk 5, get 5. And we'll kind of go ahead and enter this trade. But okay, that's what I've got. We'll see if it kind of works out in our favor or not. But basically just want to take it short as we go ahead and test this trend line. I wanted to play it here. And to be honest, it's working lovely. For some reason, my fill isn't there or whatever the case may be. I think TradingView has done something a little different. Like,
you want to check settings and get that on your chart for you?
Oh, you know what it is? I think what I forgot to do is when you go like this and like this, I thought the trade was already active, but you got to hit sell.
Gotcha.
For it to actually be it. Okay, cool. Learned something new. Sorry. But anyway, that's what I'm kind of seeing is, basically going short here. Stop loss would be above this trend line. Above these levels right here. So I would say approximately a break of 2790 or so above is where I would want to go ahead and have it stop. But that's what I've got there on the NQ. What are you seeing there yourself?
Yeah, so on the NQ, that's actually where our previous day low lines up. So where your trend line, where we were retesting that trend line, that's previous day low and the top of this demand zone. So I would definitely like to see this resistance play out. I do like that short position, but we would definitely have to be careful. We did have a very strong move today already. Can we perhaps chop around here at this point? Of course, that's always a probability, a chance in the market. But I do like where you got that short fill. I would like to see if the momentum can continue. And looking at the VIX, I'd really like to see the VIX push higher to help your short thesis. Let's see if we take a look at equities as well. Always got to keep an eye on what the equities, large caps are doing. Now we have NVIDIA trying to push lower. This can also be a big help to your short position, right? Whenever we're taking a short on the NASDAQ, something very heavy like NVIDIA, something like Microsoft, even Apple, which is selling off too, Microsoft selling off as well. This can really impact the NASDAQ to help you in this short position. So definitely look at that. You see how we already pushed lower with the movement of the market. Great stuff. Great job. Great short entries you made.
Yeah, and let's see if it actually, so far, here, let me go ahead and let me go ahead and kind of put my charts back up here. So up about a couple $100 almost. Now our target is actually low of day. And this always kind of scares me because like, hey, is the market actually going to make another low? Or are we just going to go back another way? Are we going to test VWAP? It always gets a little bit scary. But for now, I've got my level set. It's a 1-to-1 risk reward. If it works out, lovely. If it doesn't, then hey, it doesn't. But of course, it is always tempting to just snag the $100 and whatnot. But we'll just let it play on. That's the kind of the beauty of having a funded account where you're not genuinely risking a couple $100, $500 on the trade. You're risking the eval that you paid for, which is approximately $40, and then the funded account fee, which is approximately $85. So I'm okay risking $130 in case I blow the hell out of this one. You know what I mean? I'm okay with that. So
that's a great point. That's a great point to a point, because we have to remember too, the evals are great because it gives us the opportunity to disconnect from the money. However, the mindset of, okay, well, if I blow it, it's $130, so be it. If you're on your 10th time of that, it's going to start to add up.
Yeah.
So definitely good in the sense that, we're not blowing $2,000, $5,000, whatever the case may be, whatever the trail down is. But yeah, no, great stuff. Really great stuff.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of other things here. Are there any stocks that you kind of like in terms of charts that you want us to kind of go over real quick?
Stocks. So let's see. We take a look at the daily time frame whenever I'm looking at a stock. So let's see. I'd like to see if Microsoft could clear above the 430 level. I would really like to see it hit 440. But we would need to see some momentum and continuation in the market, right? We would need to see ES at an all-time high, NASDAQ at an all-time high as well, or at least pushing in that direction. If I'm looking at something like NVIDIA, however, take a look at the difference between NVIDIA on the daily versus Microsoft on the daily. Microsoft has been trying to push higher the past 3 trading sessions, while NVIDIA has been breaking a range to the downside. In fact, it just retested that range on today's candle around 137.15 and gave us a pretty nice sell-off. Very strong move. Okay, so yeah, I would be, it depends. It really depends on the direction of the market in general. If we see a consistent trend of higher on ES and NQ, then I'm only going to look for a stock that's also trending in that direction. If I'm looking for something that's trending lower, if I see that the equities are pushing lower, then I'm definitely going to go for something like NVIDIA that already has the momentum behind it to push lower.
Yeah, for me, I'm taking a look at Coinbase with all the crypto aspects of it. So if I go to Coin, I'm trying to see if it's going to stay over 300. So far, it hasn't, right? We've been up a few times. I think 225 or so has been kind of high. I lied. It's about 240 as of recent, and now we're below 300. So with Coin, with Bitcoin rather, possibly hitting 100,000 over, people talking about it over Thanksgiving meals and then possibly Christmas gatherings, yada, yada, yada. Do we end up having crypto over 100,000 or not? I would like to play it via coin. But what's interesting is I believe that you have crypto that is on the move. It's on the positive side. Let's go and take a look. I think it's at 95 again. Yep, there it is, 95 or so. So we're kind of higher than we were on the day. But crypto, but a Coinbase, excuse me, is a little bit lower. So that's something that's of interest to me, see how it ends up working out. And of course, we were so close. How close did we get to 100,000?
I think we were about $300 away from 100,000.
Yeah. I'll be quoted to this.
I think we're going to just miss it again.
99,860 is where we were at. I mean, that is just incredible that we weren't able to kind of get there. So we're going to try again. At the moment, we are making lower highs. So you have one high right here, which of course was close to the 100,000. And then you have another one right over here, which was approximately, what is that high? 99,000, give or take. And then of course, another one down here as well. So we'll see which way it ends up going. But let's see. And of course, the way that I want to play it is through Solana as well. I'm a big fan of Solana, maybe because it's quote unquote cheaper in terms of the dollar amount for me to try to get into it. So that's something I personally like. It's holding on to this level of 230 at the moment. We'll see if it continues to rise or not. I do expect a little bit of resistance around this 250 area, 248 or so, but that's what I've kind of got in the crypto land. I know we've got a few more minutes here. Anything else that you wanted to go over on the charts, whether it's on the future side or otherwise?
Yeah, I mean, I was just pulling up Bitcoin and Coinbase as well. It was definitely a good idea to sort of compare the two against each other. What I would like to see on Bitcoin is for it to sort of whiff that 100,000 again and maybe sort of get faded around 98, 99,000. Because the whole point of the market missing a key level like this is that a lot of people are last minute buying and they're getting in along around 95,000, 96,000. So when it gets to 98, they might be even adding to it. Just for it to pull back, they're going to dump for a loss. They're going to sell. It's going to help the market move lower. Great short. Look at that.
Yeah, so far working out. But again, you always get scared, right? It's like, man, I was so close. I was so close to getting my profits. Like, what is that? I think this bottom wick is approximately at 702. So I was about 10 to 11 points away from taking this. Now, yes, it would absolutely suck if it reversed and went ahead and stopped there. But hopefully it just comes on ticks. And this is where you're kind of like, oh, man, I should just take 360. I should just take this. Look, I'm just going to leave it.
At this point, if you wanted, you could probably move your stop loss to not even break even, but to that 20,760 area. So just give yourself a little more comfort. Like, okay, you know what? This is no longer a one-to-one. If it does reverse on me, I'm not going to lose 500. I'm only going to lose 150, right? Because that's a great way to keep your losses small and let your winners run.
Yeah, the worst thing is when you're checking your phone and you get a notification and it says canceled order for limit, which means the reason the limit was canceled is because it hit your stop. That's always the worst thing. But I'm excited. I'm hoping to get a payout before the end of the year. I've been trying. My trading hasn't been the best. I'm hoping to get a payout. Should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. But anything else on your mind, man, before we hop?
Not so much, obviously be careful. Black Friday markets are open, but they do close early, 1 o'clock Eastern, 1 a.m. Eastern. So be careful with that. And then we have a full week coming up next week. So if you want, sit on your hands, protect that capital, get right back to it next week.
You've got Walter, who does really well in the futures world, saying, think you should get filled on that. Expecting ES to return to Sunday night open. Do you have it available on your site to show what Sunday night open is?
Sunday night open. Let's take a look. Are we looking at NASDAQ Sunday night open?
Looking at NASDAQ, yeah.
Look at the daily, or we'll look at the hourly. Sunday night, Friday, Monday, and Sunday. Here we go. Sunday open. What was he saying? Oh, ES.
Sunday night.
I'm sorry,
ES.
I said ES.
Yeah, my bad.
Sunday
ES. Yeah.
Yeah, and look at the difference, by the way, between that ES Sunday open versus NASDAQ Sunday open. NASDAQ Sunday open is way up here. We're way below it already. So the difference in market structure is the NASDAQ was much weaker today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that. That might be a great possibility of a target right there. I do have another demand zone near a key psychological level, around 6,000 even on the ES. So keep an eye for that too. We might have an afternoon sell-off. I'd definitely be careful if we can't break where we just wicked off, which unfortunately is right near your target.
Look at this. Look at how.
Oh, man.
No way, bro. No
way,
bro.
You wouldn't believe it if you didn't see it here.
There's no
oh my
way,
goodness.
bro. Okay, so let's see. That's got to be a quarter. That's got to be a quarter.
Yeah, a tick.
That's got to
like
be a quarter
right there. Not even a point. You got a tick right
there.
there.
So the low is 2691, and I am at 2691.25.
Oh man. Oh geez.
Wait, how does this? Hold on.
That's tough. You know what? I'm gonna be real. I probably would have targeted maybe a new low day instead of. Yeah, I get the 1-to-1 is a good idea, but it's always important to play your levels too.
Something I might be missing something. Maybe it's just a brain fart. If this candle's low, it says, oh, maybe it was after I put on the trade though. That's probably what it was.
I'd probably get out. I don't know. Quite honestly, I'm not. It's too range bound, and the Nasdaq's still in this demand zone and holding it. I would maybe. I don't know. I would be careful. It was two, by the way. It was 2 ticks. It was 2 ticks. So the low here was 2691.75 is where it was. I mean, you moved your stop loss up, so not for nothing, you're at least not going to lose much on this trade, which is great.
Yeah, we've all been there. We've all been there a few times. Quite unfortunate, but we'll see what ends up happening. Kevin, always appreciate your time, man. Go ahead and tell the folks where they can find you. I'll go ahead and find your Twitch and put it in the chat as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on Twitch is Kevin Futures. I like to go live. Try to go live on Twitch Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I go live on YouTube on Bullish Bears Trading. And you guys can find me at tradingpioneers.net. That's my coaching website. And like I said, if you guys want to get into some morning pre-market preps, you can join my pre-market prep for free with the discount code EDGEFUL, EDGEFUL. Like when we have an edge in the market, full. And that's a platform maybe Zunaid we could cover next time as well, because it's great for futures traders.
Awesome. Sweet. Appreciate your time, Kevin. We'll see you next time.
Absolutely. See you. Take care.
See ya. All right, chat. And again, highly recommend Apex. That's what I personally use, right? All these accounts that I pay for, whether it's on the eval side, whether it's on the funded account side, I pay with my own hard-earned money. Apex doesn't give me the money. Benzinga doesn't give me the money. It's my own money that I use. So I do go ahead and trust them for my trading like this. And hopefully it all works out for everybody. And hey, wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe. And hope you guys enjoy the break with your friends, family, touch some grass, take care of your mental. And of course, there are a lot of times we talk about celebrating with your friends and family, but there are also people out there that celebrate on their own. And I hope you find some peace and happiness with that as well. And we thank you for watching. We will see you on Friday, 8 o'clock with Ryan. Happy Thanksgiving.